Real life.
The only person. All right, looks like there's some weird volume issues, but congratulations, of course, for making it out, Iokin. And now it seems that our volume is working, so hopefully that is good. And let us know in chat if everything is okay. I think I was supposed to pronounce you were typing Polish in there, and I just spent a few hours in one of the Polish airports, and I was supposed to say przeprowadzał or whatever. I don't know how close that was to the actual pronunciation, but for everybody out there, that's what it is. But thankfully, that's the beginning and end of my Polish for today, and that means that we're getting into the actual games. Thank you very much, Zero. I'm glad I met your standards. But so we've got 2 best of 5 series today, which is a little bit weird if you're looking for 5 best of 3 series. And it's going to be basically 4 of the strongest non-Korean players playing right now. And I definitely would have included people like Eon Zerg in that list if Nyokin hadn't killed him the other day. So we're going to be starting off with g0rynich versus TerrOr. And I mean, wow, what do you say about this? This is just going to be a very... We could be done with this best of 5 in like 15 minutes, Nyokin. It seems like there is some echo. I don't think it's on my end. Okay, yeah, let's restart our call. We'll get to the bottom of this.
Don't afraid, boys and girls, we will fix everything.
Hello?
All right, hello.
I don't hear
well,
an echo now.
Yeah, I don't hear an echo now either.
I did before.
Yeah. When I was being very loud, sometimes it would echo, but I think it's totally fine now, at least in my ears.
People in chat say it's still there.
That's so strange. Okay, well, unless this is just an Okay, no. They said it's fine now. Wait, what? Okay, I can't.
It's worse.
We're both reverbing. So confused. Yeah, people saying it sounds like all audio is reverberating, so I'm not totally sure about that. I'm going to restart my my client, and then maybe that'll fix it.
Yeah, I'm gonna just restart my computer and I'll be right back.
Is there also an echo when I'm talking to you? Is there an echo? I need to hear myself. Echo. Or because if it's there, it's on my side. Is there also an echo? Yeah, sorry for doing that. We have some kind of problems. I didn't have that before, so I don't know what is causing that. It should be probably something easy to fix, I hope, because I didn't change anything since the last stream, so it should all be just like we had it before. Yeah, but you can't hear my echo, right? Let's hope it will be fine here. Our great castles will be held properly and we will be able to deliver the best games possible. Oh, I know there is a music, but I'm just talking nothing important. So music is also good.
Yes. All right. Welcome back, everybody. It should be fixed. We're not totally sure about that. Maybe it's good or bad. additional things that we need to change or update. Wait, it's just me echoing now? Okay, you try talking, Nyokin.
Yeah, am I echoing? Because it sounds good. Like me, I hear Rapid fine. Rapid hears me fine. There's no echo on our ends. Originally, I could hear Rapid echoing.
Do you maybe have the stream or like OBS playing through the speakers? I don't know, because when I listen to our audio on the stream, yeah, it sounds echoey, but it's like sounds like a software echo, not a hardware echo. I have no idea. I'm so confused now. We'll figure it out, guys. Wait, everybody else is fixed. No, it's definitely not fixed.
Is it? They say it's fixed.
It sounds really metallic.
Yeah.
I changed the Discord server. Does it sound better now? No.
No.
Okay. This is a total tragedy. Maybe now. I don't know. I can't hear myself on stream. I'm pretty sure we're still totally muted. Oh no. Okay, it's fixed. It's fixed.
Oh, I
It's fixed.
heard it.
I heard myself on stream. I heard Nyoken on stream. We're all good. Okay. We are good. Okay. All right. Okay, we did it. We solved it. Tech support 0 on the job. This is that IT degree really kicking in there. Okay. I think we're okay. Everybody else in chat says we're okay. And so until we start casting and they mute us instantly, we'll be good. So we've got about 10 seconds left of good audio. So thank you all for bearing with us as we got through a little bit of a technical difficulty. But now we can start the BSL Season 6 playoffs. Woo, I'm so excited. Okay, so yeah, we can actually talk about this. Sorry, I'm just like so tilted over all of that technical delay. So we've got g0rynich and TrueTouch, and now we can finally talk about the game, Nyoken.
Yeah, we got TrueTouch versus g0rynich. This is gonna be like, see, I personally, when I play g0rynich, his muta control's amazing, so I feel like he's got to have an advantage. But people were saying that it's obvious Eon Zerg is gonna take out g0rynich. So, like, I mean, I don't even know what to say at this point because g0rynich, like, mutas are so important in this matchup. I just feel like it's automatic g0rynich is going to have an advantage. But based on what I've read about TrueTouch in the past, people say TrueTouch has got an amazing muta micro. So I feel like this has got to be a very close series.
I feel like maybe if you were, say, writing a BSL preview article and predicting which players would be in this position, you might not have picked these two players because somebody threw a little wrench into the
Yeah.
playoffs. But if you are one of the elucidated people who, of course, knew that the bracket would work out this way, of course, including Nyoken down there in the bottom, then, when I look at this, I have to think that, maybe g0rynich has maybe a little bit more experience. I think that when it comes to playing aggressively, very few players do that as well as g0rynich. So if we're just going to go for that 9 pool speed into 1 hatch muta, like trademark Zerg aggressive play, then I think maybe that favors g0rynich, but like you were, or maybe that favors TrueTouch, but g0rynich, like you said, he's got the sickest muta micro. So I mean, what do you do? How can you find out truly without actually looking at their player profiles? Which we can do by looking on the stream. And I think the biggest thing for me, at least from the player profiles, wait, do we have player profiles?
Yeah, we got them.
Okay, I only saw the 4 for the other. Okay, there we go. All right, yeah. I was looking in the wrong directory. But yes, anyway, I love that g0rynich is just like everything about this game is hard. This game is super hard. I've been playing it for 14 years. It's still hard. Everybody's still bad at the game. I'm just like, yes, that's about Brood War in a nutshell. And he does agree that the Vulture is the most OP unit in Nyoken, which of course, as a Terran player, you have to agree with as well.
I don't know about that. I was looking at the player profiles. We haven't gotten to this player yet, but DeWalt put a pretty stable unit there. Most OP unit, the Probe. Come on, don't even tell me.
He admits it.
You send it at like 7 supply to the Terran. They can't build their barracks. It kills the SCV. They regenerate health. Come on now. Does it get more broken?
Starting probes have no build time. How broken is that?
No build time. They're just so imbalanced. But I'm really looking forward to this. Like if we look at I'm looking at Season 6 stats. It doesn't seem like TrueTouch has played any Zerg versus Zerg. I'm not sure if that's completely accurate, but g0rynich has 50% win rate versus Zerg, so maybe TrueTouch a little. I don't know. It's hard for me to say, like, maybe g0rynich has a bit of advantage because he's played in Zerg in the tournament so far. Because TrueTouch, if you look at how deep he goes every season BSL, it's like top 8 guaranteed for TrueTouch or top 4 guaranteed every single time for TrueTouch. So TrueTouch, definitely, I feel like you can't discredit him as the favorite. But like I said, g0rynich, his muta control is just fantastic. I personally like him getting through.
Yeah, I think you can always expect TrueTouch to be in the semifinals or finals of BSL. I will say if you want to rewind all the way back to like BSL Season 1. TrueTouch was, of course, the champion there, beating, of course, g0rynich, who lost so hard he's now a producer instead of a player anymore. No, I'm just kidding. But the idea is that TrueTouch has done very, very well in BSL historically, and so if history is on his side, then he'll be the one to advance. But for g0rynich, I think also a very, very strong player. Did fantastically at the Italian Esports Open event, which was kind of the first of these new style of international Brood War tournaments. So I'm excited to see what happens. Either way, it's going to be incredibly aggressive and might be over pretty quickly. So I think I don't think we've actually talked about the maps just yet. So maybe we can switch over to that slide. It's Circuit Breaker, In the Way of an Eddy, Sylphid, g0rynich, and Heartbeat. So if we don't end the series 3-0 in the first 3, we're going to get on some interesting maps there at the end.
Yeah, exactly. So this is why I like that we're getting best of 5 now, because you can't ban them all out. You can't ban g0rynich and Heartbeat and Blockchain. At least one of them's got to get in here. I am pretty surprised that Benzene got banned out, because it seems pretty obvious to me that players do not play Heartbeat, g0rynich, or Blockchain as much as they played Benzene, because that was a previous ladder map. So I am pretty surprised that got banned. But that could also mean whoever didn't ban, or whoever banned Benzene, they may have some secret build planned on g0rynich or Heartbeat. But that's going to be surprising, because it's Zerg versus Zerg, and you really don't see surprising builds.
Yeah, well, also like maps tend to not truly matter. I mean, ramps still matter. The idea is there, but ZVZ is how fast can you get to mutas, and mutas are air units, so theoretically those should be pretty good. But if we're gonna play this weird style where one player does not go for Aspire and wants to build spores around their mineral lines, then obviously the maps can have a big impact on that. And so I don't know. I'm excited. The truly
Wax or
luxurious dream
modems,
for me
boys.
is if we get a
StarCraft
late game
Saturday has
ZVZ.
begun.
Ever since the Zerg player g0rynich has been back from the army and streaming on Afrika TV, very frequently he'll hit late game ZVZ, and it's so cool. I just wish we got a chance to see it more often. But either way, I think this is going to be an amazing series. So I mean, I'm ready to get into the game, but I don't see it hosted yet. Oh, it's okay. Sorry, we changed things up here. I'm not used to g0rynch's naming convention, but I'm in the game now, and so we should be ready to start as soon as my very slow Korean internet finishes downloading the replay file.
What? Oh, I see it now.
Yeah. g0rynch's being sneaky on us. It's BSL playoffs, and so he changed the name and the password of the map that we're loading into. So g0rynch's keeping us on our toes always.
Well, I can see he's keeping us on our toes. Look at that game speed. That's not what you want to see.
Ah,
Speed 8,
he
turn
made
rate
the
8.
game on slowest. I saw, what was it? I saw a thread on Reddit the other day. It's like, don't you think it would be fun to play a ladder map on faster? And I'm like, no, that would actually be the least fun thing I could ever have. Maybe if you have like 10 APM, you get a chance to play like you're, pro gaming god. But for everybody else, it would just be massively terrible to have to mine on faster for the first 10 minutes of each game.
Yeah, I mean, that's how the original ladder was, is it was
Oh,
set to
yeah.
fast instead of fastest. I never understood why they put it like, I guess you could just theorize like we want it fast so the players don't mess up their builds. I don't know. It was so weird. But I mean, that was 20 years ago, before
Yeah.
even APM existed. Replays didn't exist, so that was a very long time ago. But now, everybody just plays on fastest. It's
Yeah.
they don't even want to play on like turn rate 16, so it's got to be perfect, or otherwise the players are tilted.
Okay, well, as soon as we can, we'll get into a hopefully not slowest and turn rate 8 replay, and then we can start the playoffs, if that's okay, g0rynich. There we go. All right, we're starting. It still says that the speed is slowest and the turn rate is 8, but I'm hoping that that's just a visual bug on my screen. Otherwise, we'll just be commentating really slowly. Okay, yeah, everything's fine. Crisis averted. Okay, in the bottom left-hand corner, in the white, for the first time in the BSL Season 6 playoffs. It's True Touch.
In the top left, we've got the purple Zerg coming off of a nice comeback victory versus Eon Zerg. It's g0rynich. Now,
Yeah.
last week, obviously I played in it and I felt pretty good, but I kind of felt bad for Eon Zerg because he had a same situation that happened to me in WCG 2010, I think, where me and G5 played. And for those of you who don't know G5, old school Protoss player, and he ended up winning WCG, but the map scores were 5-5 because it went 2-1, I lost. Then in the winners final, or in the finals, I won 2-0 and then lost 2-1 again. So overall, the map scores were 4-4, and that's exactly what happened. g0rynich versus Eon Zerg, they ended up going 3-3 in terms of matches, but because of the format, g0rynich ended up getting out.
So it's a little bit of heartbreaking when it comes to how you decide which players advance. If you change the format, different players get out. And I was actually just at a big StarCraft 2 tournament, and we had something very similar happen, where a tiebreaker. We had 8 6-man groups, and it was round robin within the groups, and only the top 2 players got out. So there's just a large number of players doing round robin, and in 2 of the groups, there were 3 players that were totally tied on map score, but based on, and they were tied on game score as well, but because of head-to-heads, it actually wound up that there were no tiebreakers. I'm just like, wow, you know, if we replayed this group again, you know, you'd see drastically different results. But in the end, this is what we have. And so let's actually kind of talk about the actual builds, because we are just about to see some hatcheries thrown down, and there they go. Basically identical up until this point.
Yeah, these are literally identical builds. I think it was overpool gas, both sides, both players putting down their hatcheries, like within a second or 2 of each other. Now, I have to point out that True Touch somehow, or he did up until about 5 seconds ago, did have 1 supply advantage. And if we look at the minerals, I mean, he somehow got 50 more minerals than g0rynich. And this is the same build. So I don't know. Well, as I say that, look at, well, okay. Well, I was going to say that they're now even somehow, but that's because g0rynich, I mean, True Touch just spent something. You can see True Touch is ahead and supplied for like a couple seconds. So I wonder what the difference is, but both players so far identical. We've got Lair coming down for both. Both players have the same amount of lings, and they did they both scout each other first? Yes, they both scouted each other first, so they know exactly what's going on.
Do they both have the same amount of lings? I'm seeing 2 for g0rynich and 4 for True Touch. Okay, the next 2 just hatched. All right, so we should have 4 and 4, and this is just gonna be so crazy, right? We get a chance. Oh, they're there. Sorry, I'm actually just blind. So this is one of the rare gifts that we have in Brood War, where, you know, we have different races, we have different build orders, but you know, a lot of people like to say, okay, well, this player won with cheese, or okay, well, you know, this player is a better macro player, not a micro player. But in this case, it doesn't actually matter, because we have the exact same moments happening in the game on both sides. This is actually so sick, because you'll get the best way to start off a best of 5 by kind of proving, if everything is totally equal, which player is the better one.
But we do have the first difference I've seen so far is that True Touch ended up building only lings at his natural, whereas g0rynich, he snuck out this 1 drone. Now, it is only 1 drone, so I don't think it's going to be a big deal if a fight ever happens, but this may trigger some type of movement from True Touch. Does he want to get more aggressive? He knows he's got a slight advantage of lings. And I'm just constantly checking the larva at the natural. Is g0rynich going to try and sneak out another drone, or is he just content with 1?
Yeah, I mean, he's getting nothing but Zerglings right now. I mean, every 7 trips, or 6 or 7, yeah, 7 trips, you're going to get an extra whatever you want to build. And sure, larva is actually a big limiter in the early game, so maybe eventually that'll come into play. But the bigger thing is, of course, kind of the map archer, super to get across double bridges, ramps, and, you know, overlords get perfect vision. So really, any tiny advantage you have in the early game, it's going to be a little bit mitigated because of that, I think.
Yeah, but both players seem to be content with just sitting on their sides. Guess not. g0rynich is moving out. But
Okay.
just like what you were saying, like we've got these bridges to come across. He's going to be attacking into a choke. Or he's not! What is he doing?
He baited him with 2 lings! g0rynich! He ran in 2 lings from the side, but that's actually turning out to be a terrible idea because he, after going across the double bridges, chose to turn back around and run away, and then lost quite a few zerglings there, so I'm not sure if that was necessarily the correct move there, but I love that 2-ling distraction tactic that g0rynich was pulling off.
Well, g0rynich is in a bit of trouble because TerrOr ended up building four Scourge and only 2 mutas, but g0rynich built 4 mutas, so there's a higher amount of lings out right now. And oh my gosh, is TerrOr just going to end it here? The mutas aren't out, and there's Scourge pretty close by.
Okay, you gotta hold over the double bridges. He's taking a concave versus a convex. We all know how that goes, but the mutas come out, and that should equalize everything. If he can micro against the Scourge, which the answer is no so far. We're talking about g0rynich and how he's got such godlike micro, but these Scourge hit 4 for 4, and now, oh no, there's drones going down in the main.
Yeah, so this is just fantastic for TerrOr. Where are his mutas? He hasn't sent him across the map just yet, but he's done ridiculous amounts of damage, getting 2 mutas for 4 Scourge. That's exactly what you want. And TerrOr now, he's got 5 mutas. He's got more lings coming. Again, the full drone pull is very punishing. He also lost a couple drones. Yeah. And somehow g0rynich is even in mutas and Scourge, but he's got to connect with these Scourge, because if he doesn't, TerrOr is going to catapult ahead.
Yeah, there's a 2-worker disadvantage, but the big advantage that g0rynich has is that he does have a gas geyser in his natural. Now, he doesn't have any drones mining from it, but if he can get his economy back in order and start mining from that, then yeah, that'll be a good way to do that. But one thing that I was like very kind of surprised at is g0rynich didn't save his mutas from those Scourge. When you go for a higher number of Scourge earlier, then you really do need to make it count. And look at what TerrOr is doing. He's already microing successfully against the Scourge and starting to come out with a big air advantage.
Yeah, and here comes a big attack. That was a bit of a blunder from TerrOr, but he's doing a good job picking off that Scourge.
Yeah, and I think the Scourge are actually maybe a little bit better here for TerrOr. Even though he did just kind of run into melee range with those mutas. So I'm trying to keep an eye. Oh, and he snipes a drone that hatched at the vulnerable gas geyser in the natural. And so while g0rynich mutas were microing against the Scourge, TerrOr gets in there and kills like 3 drones. 2 drones, I think.
Oh, this muta control is perfect. I don't think we've seen a single Scourge connect for g0rynich. Also fighting over that extractor every time he turns around.
2 lings
even if
in the main. Oh, they're running around. They're trying to snipe drones, but they didn't get anything. Sorry to catch you off.
It's fantastic. He's taking no hits, and now g0rynich is going to lose all of his mutas. This is going to be TerrOr taking game 1.
Wow. Okay, barring, of course, crazy Scourge hits, which we will not be seeing. Yeah, no, this is just absolutely game over. He's going to get it into the main. There's no spores, and the game just ends. Oh my god. Well, you know, I guess this answers those questions you had earlier, Nyoken, about who had the better muta control.
I mean, it was pretty evident that game that it is TerrOr with the superior control. But I don't know if people noticed this, but at the very end when TerrOr was microing near the extractor versus the Scourge, even if his mutas turn around and don't shoot the Scourge for whatever reason, they're out of range, he can bounce off of the extractor and it was hitting the Scourge. It was really nice because, you know, they do like 2 damage each, so like 1 volley almost kills the Scourge completely. Like it was great.
It was very good control there, and a lot of times you can kind of use that. I see it used mostly when you're like harassing missile turrets and mineral lines, where you can like bounce the glaives off of a building and then hit the SCVs or workers. Or in this case, he was trying to do that or use that ability to hit the extractor and get some extra hits in. But even still, I think I mean it was identical builds up until it wasn't, and the big change, at least for me, was seeing 2 mutas and 4 Scourge versus 4 mutas come out to start. And when TerrOr was able to just run his Scourge across the map and instantly score 2 muta hits, I mean, that's a big I mean, it's not a big advantage, it's a tiny advantage, but in ZVZ, every tiny advantage is a big advantage. So sick. I'm so excited that game number 1 was so, well, exciting. And that was like, you know, your big standard 4-player macro map. So what happens when we get into some of these other crazy maps? I mean, we're moving into the other 4-player map in the way of an eddy, but I don't really know how much this is going to change anything.
Yeah, I'd feel like it's probably not going to change much. Only the only difference here is we've got the inverted ramp.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've talked with Eonzerg before. It didn't seem like this was a big issue in terms of strategies. So I don't expect anything different. I don't know, but I'm ready to see this game if we're ready to get into it. But look at Zero.
I'm ready
He's
to
changed this. He changed the speed to fastest.
Haha, well done, Zero. I'm proud of you. I'm guessing it actually just doesn't matter, but sick.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we've gotten the micro down. Let's get into game number 2, guys. It's gonna be in the way of an eddy. All right, welcome everybody to game number 2 of the BSL Season 6 playoffs. Our first best of 5 is underway, and in the upper right-hand corner, it's the man down 0-1. It's g0rynich.
And in the bottom left, he looked amazing with that muted control. It is TerrOr. Now, I wonder how g0rynich is feeling, because if you think about it, you're playing the same build, but you got like outclassed pretty hard. Right? So that's kind of a depressing feeling to know that. It'd be different if you played like a different build and you're like, oh, well, the guy had some sort of build order advantage, but that was not the case. But at the same time, g0rynich, I think he recognizes that those 2 Scourge connections in the beginning really just allowed TerrOr to get such a big lead that as long as he can keep that from happening again, it's going to be pretty okay.
Yeah, I would say so. It can be a little bit demoralizing to say, oh man, everything was fine, and then it wasn't. But I do agree. It's not like losing one game is going to stop players from that they can actually win. But let's actually kind of take a look at the way that the game is going, because it is starting to take a little bit of a detour. You'll notice that TerrOr has no spawning pool.
Yeah, so TerrOr so far looks like we're going to have 12 hatch. Oh, is that going to be pool? It's going to be 12 hatch. And g0rynich is going for 9 pool with an extractor, so g0rynich is going to have Ling advantage, he's going to have Lair advantage, but if TerrOr can keep this base, he's going to have Larva advantage, he's going to have macro advantage. But if he loses it, it's going to be almost impossible for him to recover, because we know that g0rynich is just going to have the tech lead the entire game.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of the biggest. We go from having the least amount of difference to maybe the most amount of difference. I believe the total rush distance, if your cross spawns on in the way of an eddy, is 52 seconds in game, and so that's just gigantic, right? So maybe that's one of the things that TerrOr is kind of hoping for. If you're close, it's about 10 seconds faster to run between bases on this map. It's not kind of balanced like a map like Roadkill would be. So, or Autobahn, I forget which one I'm talking about. But the idea is that TerrOr is in a very big aggressive disadvantage. So he's going to have to hold on really, really close. And I think working in his favor is the idea that g0rynich scouted incorrectly, and now he's going to doubly scout incorrectly. So these lings are going to take forever to get to TerrOr's base.
Yeah, this is about as good as it can get for TerrOr. The lings are completely in the wrong spot. I am paying close attention. Okay, we've got Lair coming out for TerrOr. No speed, so g0rynich is going to have speed advantage also. Like, that's a huge upgrade. But he's got equal amounts of leak. Like, as soon as these pop, it's going to be 8 versus 8, but the lings aren't here on time, and now that Larva is probably going to get surrounded, which means the 2 lings are going to die pretty quickly.
He should try to surround the Larva, but he doesn't. And so that means that the Larva get out. There's Zerglings. The drones actually get in here. 2 drones are down, but that's, that's pretty rough, but it's not that bad if you can stabilize with Zerglings, because you'll have the extra production from your hatchery.
Yeah, 2 drones instantly go down. The lings from TerrOr got pretty good surface area on TerrOr.
Oh, the drone wall!
Yeah, but this is 3 drones, and behind it, he's only got 6 drones, also 1 on gas. So this is really... Oh, he's trying to break down.
The good Zergling control. I actually saw TerrOr pull individual low health like 2 HP Zerglings back and then reposition them so that they could hit without dying. So you'll notice that TrueTouch has like 3 or 4 Zerglings that are very, very low HP. Similar situation for g0rynich, but he's heading back home. And I want to see if he wants to throw down like a macro hatch or something. We've seen some Zerg players try to do this. I was watching a J League, and there were several moments where was it I forget who it was, but I think it was maybe Zero who tried something like that. But we're speed running all the way up to lair tech. We're getting a Spire out, and that means that at least g0rynich is going to be playing this game kind of the way you would expect to see a ZVZ played, where on the other side, TrueTouch has no Spire in sight.
Yeah, losing those drones crippled his econ because the lair timing was pretty similar, but no Spire for him. But g0rynich has got to be careful because we've got an overwhelming amount of links. For sure it can bust down this ramp. The real question is will the Sunken be strong enough to fend off? So there's so many links.
Whoa, he got in! Really, really great link control there by TrueTouch. It's not a crazy amount of links that got in, but he has more and more rallied across the map. He's not going mutas, at least not yet. Nyokin, this is a lot of links.
Yeah, and these are morphing mutas, so this is go time for TrueTouch. He's focusing the Spire. It's in a pretty good spot, but is it gonna die? It's already at half health. More links coming from the bottom. Full drone pull.
Yeah, and there's no way for g0rynich's drones or Zerglings to get back there to stop the Spire from going down. So the Spire goes down. There are still mutas morphing, so there will be mutas out. But look at this. It's a full drone pull. He's going to target down the extractor, and these mutas can't do anything. Okay, he should maybe finish killing that. Oh, but he's actually going to catch the drones on the ramp. This is huge, huge damage from TrueTouch.
Yeah. He's going to get all the drones. If he gets all the drones, that's it, because g0rynich has 9 minerals. He's trying to save him. He knows he has to save them. Oh, they're like 1 hit.
This is actually so crazy. I cannot believe that this game is doing what it is doing on our screen. In the end, g0rynich loses everything, and even with the mutas, knows that he can't get across the map in time. TrueTouch, what a god.
Yeah, I'm surprised because I thought that g0rynich was going to do better with the lings, but it ended up TrueTouch got a lot of damage back onto the lings, and then I mean, you saw the effect of the 2 hatch. You just bust down there, and the Spire from g0rynich, when I was looking at it, I was thinking back to who was it that we casted that got his Spire picked off like twice? Do you remember?
Was it Tai 2?
I don't think it was. I think it was like, was it Wing? Like, I can't remember who it was, but I remember we were talking about his build very slick, but it like always got punished because the Spire was out of position. But I saw the Spire from g0rynich, I'm like, well, that's not a lot of surface area for the lings to get onto it, but there was, and it died so fast. I'm shocked.
Yeah, it always surprises me. And these are not even like, cracklings. When cracklings kill buildings, it's like, okay, well, yeah, we get it. It dies instantly. But these are just like regular Zerglings. Speed doesn't make them hit faster, and they're just chewing away at the top of that Spire. And all of a sudden, you clicked on it, I think, the same time I did. It's already at half HP, and there aren't even any lings or drones being sent around there to stop it. And so, wow, really brilliantly played there by our Polish Zerg TrueTouch, who's now 2-0 up in a ZVZ series, and reverse sweeps and mirror matches are just so incredibly rare.
Yeah, well, now I think g0rynich has got to be feeling not so great about that one. He's definitely going to be feeling the pressure now, and I mean, it's always hard when you have 2 games like that. Sometimes you need to just get angry. That's what I resort to, is just get angry. Maybe you'll play better, but he needs to make something happen because we're gonna be 3-0 like very fast. Like that's not what you want, obviously.
Yeah, am I gonna have a vaguely normal bedtime tonight? I don't know. I just got done with a 24-hour plane ride from Ukraine, so my sleep schedule is totally screwed. So this is pretty good, but I might be able to reset that tonight. I don't know, but let's get into game number 3 and find out if this is going to be a 3-0, and if not, I mean, it'd be one heck of a comeback to see. So let's start the game. Here we go. Game number 3 on Neo Sylphin. right, here we are on Neo Sylphid in the bottom left in the brown, up 2-0 in the series. It's our Polish Zerg player, TerrOr.
And in the bottom right, he needs your energy. It is g0rynich. Yeah, so I don't know what g0rynich should do this time because we had even builds and we just kind of just got outplayed. And then now I'm not a connoisseur of Zerg versus Zerg, but a lot of times when I watch non-pool speed versus hatch, like the hatch dies or is very low, whereas g0rynich really didn't get essentially any damage done to the hatch. So I'm not sure what he's going to go for in this game. It just feels like TerrOr is just too solid.
Yeah, he has definitely really been on top of everything. He picks the perfect map, the perfect spawns to go for. One of the biggest build orders differences that you have in ZVZ, and he pulls it off almost flawlessly. So, I mean, you can't really take too much away from that other than, you gotta either scout better, play better. I don't know. Not very helpful observations on my part, but if there is a way for g0rynich to pull this back, maybe it does come in the form of just trying to rush to mutas as quickly as possible. Obviously, that's not what we're seeing here.
Well, I love what TerrOr is going for because I think he may feel that g0rynich might have to do something very risky, such as 12 hatch. And because of that, we're seeing 9 pull speed. So he's going to be the one putting on the aggression. Whoa, it's not going to be 12 hatch from g0rynich. I'm surprised that we're having 12 pull.
Yeah, what 12 pool is in general not that great a build. Let's see, it's slightly better than like overpool, I guess, but still that's I mean, pretty not a common build that I see in ZVZs usually.
Well, we're gonna have 12 pool with gas with a fast hatchery, but luckily for TerrOr, luck is just on his side today because he gets a first scout off. He sees the hatch and he sees it's late, so he knows that this is gonna be a 12 pool. He's gonna be able to respond appropriately. He's decided that still speed is the way to go. Pool is not done for g0rynich. It just finished.
Man, this is how unfair ZVZ can be, because when the roles were reversed, when g0rynich went for 9 pool speed versus 12 hatch.
Look at this. He's avoiding the overlord.
Oh my god, what a legend. This is so yeah. g0rynich scouted with an overlord wrong, then he scouted with his first 6 lings wrong, and then he got to the hatch without enough time to take it down. This is the exact opposite. TerrOr both overlord scouts correctly and dodges g0rynich's overlord, and he's got this aggressive build order. I can't wait to see what's about to happen here, because I mean he's not going to have that much back at home to defend when g0rynich's lings run out, and as soon as he sees those on his overlord, he's just going to run straight down into g0ry's natural.
This is big brain play because TerrOr knows, I guess, that 12 pool is going to move out, and because he knows that, he just goes into the main. There's 2 lings.
Oh my god.
And g0rynich is turning around, but I don't think he can afford to turn around. He can't turn around. He's got to do something. The drones are going to die, so maybe his best chance is to base trade. But TerrOr was already ready for it.
Yeah, g0rynich canceled his lair instantly and pulled his lings all the way back. While on the other side, we've got a lair that's almost just now finished morphing for TerrOr. What on earth are you doing? Is this the 4th race? Is TerrOr just too good?
Oh my gosh, this is like this is actually perfect Zerg versus Zerg that we're seeing here. Like TerrOr just picking him apart. He's got lings at the natural now. I guess he's not going to attack the natural. Okay, now this fight is going to be very big. g0rynich has to win it.
Okay, g0rynich does win that fight. I mean, there's a pretty big distance between the bases, but at this point, you don't want to be just like totally spamming, Zerglings to run them across the map to trade. You want to kind of be finding one way to build up an advantage, and for g0rynich, that just comes from surviving. If he can get some drones mining down here at his natural, maintain that larva advantage, and theoretically, he'll be in a great spot for the rest of this game.
Yeah, and TerrOr, he saw that g0rynich canceled the lair, so he knows that it's most likely just going to be pure ling. I'm surprised that he doesn't build a second sunken, because I would imagine that g0rynich is going to go for mass ling, but he's got the overlord sitting there. He knows that it's not coming just yet. g0rynich even building drones
How does TerrOr sneak a Ling into the main? I mean, sure, it's got 5 HP, but sometimes that's all you need. I was checking for low health drones, and there is one with only about 30 out of 40 HP, so maybe you want to work on that one. But realistically, it should be basically impossible for TerrOr to get in here. But he has a lair, he has a spire, and g0rynich has neither of those.
Well, Rapid, if we're going to get a late game Zerg versus Zerg, this is going to be the one, because g0rynich is going for the Evolution Chamber style play.
Oh,
it's
he's
going to be... Yeah, this is 4 lanes, so this can kill the drone line, but look at a huge attack from g0rynich. It's just like last game, there's no support for the Sunken and drones. Did TerrOr just botch this?
I think he did. If he can glitch out, look at that drone drill. The drone drills are insane. How does he do it? Oh my god, he drone drilled for hours, it felt like, and that means that the Sunken survives. Eventually the Lings will go down, the Mutas are out, the drones survive. TerrOr, in a helpless, hopeless situation, somehow comes out with not a total loss. Now, the downside is that he does only have 2 drones now, so that's not great.
Yeah, just like last game, it's just underdefended for the Lings, and now it's TerrOr with no drones. g0rynich has gotten spores everywhere, and g0rynich is just going to power behind it. But again, he still has no lair. But TerrOr, his only opportunity to win this game is build Lings and try and create a hole with the Mutas to try and get the Lings into the main. Otherwise, this is going to go to 2-1. And g0rynich has a big Ling counterattack going again. There's only a Sunken and 2 Lings. There's no way TerrOr can defend it.
I think this is actually just going to be a 2-1. g0rynich is going to run Lings in here. There's a half health Sunken and only 2 Lings to defend it. They're on hold position, so they don't move. Sunken goes down. And I think this should just be GG from g0rynich. Wow. That was... What a, this is top 10 anime betrayals, Nyokin. I definitely thought it was going to go the other way, but an excellent defense there by g0rynich on his side of the map. And sure, the Lings are going to poke and deal maybe a little bit of extra damage here, but yeah, this should be pretty over.
Yeah, so TerrOr is going to go down, and g0rynich with a nice comeback. It looked unrecoverable. I'm not sure exactly where TerrOr's mistake was. Maybe that big Ling trade, it just went too favorably for g0rynich.
Yeah, one thing that I was looking at is that when he was trading, he chose to trade like way on the other side of the map, and I get that he had the aggressive advantage, but especially canceling that lair. I mean, that's just a really big decision, and g0rynich made that basically instantly. He saw the Lings show up as soon as they had ran through into his main. Instant lair cancel, spammed Lings, and was able to run back across the map with sort of that rubber band effect. Really, really cool to see that now we have a series on our hands. But like I said, reverse sweeps and mirror matchups, especially ZVZ, are very rare. So, I mean, I'm all for seeing a close series, but this would take just a miracle for g0rynich to come back.
Yeah, well, we got a non-3-0, so now we're getting onto my map. It's Kyceris. I'm just thinking of the possibilities. Imagine this, Rapid. We've got epic long game. We've got hidden bases at mid-right. Like, we've got shatterable temples. We've got, like, huge counterattacks. Like, this game could get crazy if we can get to that point.
Yeah, I'm digging it. If we do make it actually into the late game, then... see, watching these 2 players specifically play late game ZVG's, Craigasm. It's so good. But we have to get into the next game in order to get there, so let load into Kyceris. If you guys are not familiar with this map, don't worry. There's probably a lot of people in that same bucket. I would be in that bucket too if I think Kix hadn't played this in either BSL or one of his weird map tournaments. It's been in BSL for a while, and even though it's pretty rarely played, it does have its own show times. So if you haven't seen this before, get ready, and if you have, well, you know that it does have that potential that Nyokin was talking about. So without further ado, let's get into game number 4. It's 2-1 in favor of TerrOr. We'll see if g0rynich can pull it back here on Kyceris.
Yes. Yes. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We got horizontal spawns. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm so excited.
I can't control my co-caster. Why are you so excited, Nyokin?
Because like, when was the last time you saw spawns this close? Never, right? Like, are we gonna see like an emphasis on? Oh my God, g0rynich scouting incorrectly again. Like, I feel like when you're gonna get a map like this, if maybe like you're just gonna see like super fast mutas because of the spawn. So I'm hoping that like TerrOr goes for 9 pull here, goes for speed, or goes for fast mutas. I hope g0rynich does that too. But
Yeah.
I've never seen a Zerg versus Zerg on here, so maybe what I just said about emphasizing the muta play may not actually be as important. But just in theory, I feel like that's gotta be the most important thing with spawns like this.
Yeah. So if you don't know who the players are with our ketchup and mustard overlay, you should be able to figure that one out. Yellow TerrOr and red g0rynich. The most important moment is about to come up here, where TerrOr pulls his overlord back, because the building that he will see does not have the same vision as the overlord. So the overlord from TerrOr can see the building spawning pool, and if he turns around immediately, then he'll have the spawning location information and g0rynich won't. But that's not what's going to happen. Both players will now know where the other spawned, and I think the biggest victory for this information, like you said, Nyokin, is that TerrOr can now see that going for this 9 pool speed is just basically the best build to have. His opponent's going for it too, so it's not like it's a crazy big discrepancy there.
Yeah, but TerrOr has, I think this was an overpool.
Oh,
so
yeah, it was
like,
overpool.
He's got like a direct counter so far versus g0rynich. Like the gas discrepancy, like we're within 16 to 20 or 8 to 16 gas, like negligible. So
wow,
TerrOr is always going to have the econ advantage, and g0rynich is in the dark. Did TerrOr expand? He's already shown he can expand, and he did it on a big map like Eddie, right? And if we look at this map layout, you got to go horizontal to the right, and then down, and then back to the left. So there's a real potential g0rynich might think that TerrOr expanded. So really, he's completely in the dark. And look at this. We've got fast lair from TerrOr. He's emphasizing that muta play like I just was talking about.
And this is the crushingly best strat that he could go for, because the distance between bases, you think it's close by ground, Nyokin? It's so close by air. Your mutas spawn in the enemy base. So this is going to be so crazily good for TerrOr. Man, if we see a g0rynich come back from this, I will be so surprised. He's got to bust up a ramp. He's got slower mutas. I don't know. This is going to be very, very difficult.
Oh, is that a little gap between those two
I
rings?
see it. It's so dangerous, too. It looks so scary, because all you have to do is have Zerglings run between there, and then all of a sudden you got to start putting out fires.
And look how nervous g0rynich is. He's like, remember last game, Sylphid, he didn't see Lings, and he got counterattacked and took devastating damage. And because of that, he's turned around, made sure that that doesn't happen. And the Spire has already started for TerrOr. Lair's not even done for g0rynich just yet. We see him sneaking in a drone. What's his follow-up? What's the plan from here? TerrOr is even ahead in gas somehow? I mean, not by a lot, but he is a little bit.
Well, proving once again that mustard is the superior condiment to the inferior ketchup pieces that g0rynich is playing with. I totally agree, Nyokin. I don't know what, like, we're observers, right? We have infinite awareness, just like Protoss players do when they build those stupid units. Anyway, the thing that we can see is that everything looks so good for TerrOr. So, I feel like it's everybody's best guess that he's just going to fly across the map with mutas and kill g0rynich. But, we have this crazy thing called time between now and then, and I just want to see what could possibly happen for g0rynich to be able to somehow kind of right this ship and stabilize.
So look at the gas discrepancy now. I forgot that g0rynich didn't have a Spire up, and now TerrOr is up 200 gas. He has skipped speed because he's recognized how important the air battle is. How does g0rynich recover? There's flat out always going to be muta advantage. He's going to have all of his Scourge connect. The Spire's still not done. Mutas are being morphed. That means that even if g0rynich goes straight Scourge, I don't think they're going to be ready.
Well, I think basically the only thing you can do as g0rynich is just go for it, right? Pull all your Zerglings across the map and try to bust up into the main. This, I want to call it greedy, but there is a hatchery building in the natural, and the mutas will be able to fend off the Zerglings. And I think this is just it, right? I mean, it's just kind of over, right?
Well, I don't know if it's over, but this Ling poke was mandatory for g0rynich. Because if it wasn't, we would have just ran straight to the main and killed all the drones. And this has also allowed g0rynich to actually get up mutas he hasn't built. Scourge this time. Oh, big pickoff. Well, I thought it was a big pickoff on the Overlord, but he still has an excess amount of supply. Now TerrOr is gonna lose some Lings. Remember, they don't have speed. And g0rynich really didn't lose any Lings, so there's a real threat of the Ling counterattack from g0rynich.
Well, I'm just looking at the muta number just as a whole. We've got 5 with 3 on the way here for TerrOr, whereas on the other side, got some Lings poking around, but the muta count overall smaller here by g0rynich. But his are in a more aggressive position, so I'm thinking if he goes right now and starts killing all these drones, or picks off mutas as they spawn, oh, beautiful move there by g0rynich. He almost kills an entire muta. He gets half the health bar off of it, and picks off a drone in the main.
Yeah, and he's got a full drone pull, so these few seconds of him having 3 on gas will catch up eventually. Uh-oh, TerrOr has caught a muta. This is probably gonna trigger a big fight.
Yeah, the muta does run away all the way, but gets picked off in the end. So I think this might just do it. Nyokin, I'm watching the mutas on top of mutas. I think TerrOr has 2 more, with more spawning here for g0rynich. I don't know how this is going to go, but there's g0rynich. She types L, lucky as usual. No good manners this time around. And I totally agree there. You got to feel for g0rynich in that last game. And in the game before, where he got as unlucky as possible into a game where his opponent got as lucky as possible. Oh, man, the salt is flowing, and I think justifiably so.
Yeah, I do feel a bit bad for g0rynich because TerrOr just... He scouted perfectly every single game. He somehow, or for some reason, I guess, scouts horizontally, and I don't know. It was just his day. That's just happens sometimes. But you can't discredit that TerrOr played well. Like, it's more than just like, oh, well, you got lucky. No, he executed very nicely. So TerrOr looking very strong, very deadly. I would be worried that I think this could be the season he goes all the way to the finals. I don't remember the last time he went to the finals, but I think it's been a couple seasons now, but he looks really, really, really good.
Yeah, the BSL buff is back with TerrOr. He's been to the finals and even won BSLs before. So I think that even though many years have passed since that happened, it could absolutely happen again. This is really, really crazy to see. For g0rynich, yeah, you got to feel for him. But for TerrOr, I think the future is very, very bright. And just to keep everybody updated with the way that the BSL bracket is working, if you don't know about that, you can, of course, visit bombasticstarleague.com. It's got all the info up there. Or you can visit the Wikipedia page. It's got all the info there. The winner of this series, which is now TerrOr, will face the winner of 2.Dewalt versus TerrOr. So, ooh, it's super scary. I don't know who you'd want to face there because they're both just so good. But either way, that does mean that we have the potential of getting a Protoss, Terran, or Zerg player through to the finals. Whereas on the other side of the bracket that we're going to be coming into with our next best of 5, there's only Protoss and Terran players over there. So the diversity is lowering as we have one of our only 2 Zerg players in the playoffs now eliminated. So I don't know what your dream final is going to be, Nyokin, aside from a game with you in it.
I mean, my dream finals is already in the round of 8. It's Bonus versus Dandy. That's my dream finals, and we're getting it in the 8th round. It could be a secondary dream. We could have Dandy versus Dragon in the quarterfinals, and then I guess I would root for, I guess I would root for 2.Dewalt to make it out, and then 2.Dewalt make it out, and then Dandy make it out, and then we'd have 2.Dewalt versus Dandy. Like, that would be amazing for me to see 3 of the absolute best Terran vs Protoss games, and also Terra versus 2.Dewalt. Well, yeah, 4 of the absolute best Terran vs Protoss play that we could see from the foreigner scene.
Yeah. In truth, the reason that we need to figure out how to, interact with multiple universes is so that we can watch every possible permutation of this bracket play each other over and over again. Because it's just so stacked. Well, like Neil Iokin said, we do have one more best of 5 coming up today, or tonight rather, and it is going to be DeWalt versus TerrOr. It's pretty impossible to pick who's going to win here. I would say that DeWalt, has been in Korea practicing a ton, and it's hard to root against this guy. He's just so good. But for TerrOr, it feels like he just keeps getting stronger. He's so good. So when we come back after this short break, we'll get into that best of 5 to find out who will advance on to face TrueTouch in the round of 4 in the BSL Season 6 playoffs. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back with our second best of 5. Welcome back, everybody, to the BSL Season 6 playoffs. I'm Rapid with Nyokin, and of course, Zero behind the scenes, and all of you beautiful people in chat. So I hope you enjoyed our first Best of 5, which was a crazy ZVZ, where TerrOr just kind of seemed to be on another level, or at least rubbing his lucky rabbit's foot when it came to some scouting and build orders there. But it was really cool to watch that, and so TerrOr will be our first player advancing on to the semifinals. And that means we have to find out who is going to advance on to face him. So I guess we should introduce our next two players by showing some of their player profiles. It's going to be DeWalt versus TerrOr. And, you know, DeWalt has been out in Korea training super hard, but TerrOr doesn't need to leave Korea to show good results. He just trains in Peru, and somehow that's almost just as good, because so is he.
Yeah, TerrOr has so many victories versus so many good players. Just the Larva. I like he's just really great. And DeWalt, sure, he's been in Korea for a while, but I remember people talking about joining pro for and talking on like the team or practice partner level for. But it's not like DeWalt has been in for years.
Did we lose Nyokin? Uh-oh. It was getting slower and slower. Yeah, I can't hear you anymore, Nyokin. I don't think you're in our call. You might not be. Welcome back. Hello? Be a wolf. I don't hear you, Nyokin. Okay, we'll get our top men back on, reconnecting Nyokin here, and hopefully, I see him. I saw him for like 1 second.
Am
Okay,
I here? Am I back?
Yeah, I think you're back. I
hate wireless, but really I can't go anywhere else. But like I was saying, TerrOr's beaten a lot of good players. He's got a good chance of beating DeWalt. They're not like I don't think DeWalt is massively higher than TerrOr. I think that DeWalt has an advantage, and being in Korea obviously helps him out a little bit. But from what I was told in the past, like when people join pro teams, it takes years to like move up the rankings. So it's not like DeWalt has been in Korea for a long time for the Korean practice to kick in, so to say. So I do think that TerrOr does have a good shot of winning, but it's going to be difficult going up against DeWalt.
In truth, there was loud music over most of while you were disconnected, so Crisis deferred it. Doesn't matter. I actually think that you're totally correct. I always kind of wonder whether or not it is worth it to take this effort to travel across the world to train. And I think maybe this is one of the figure that out, just like somebody else has figured out apparently the lobby password. But anyway, let's I guess get ready at least to get into our next map. It's going to be on In the Way of an Eddy for game 1, and then moving on from In the Way of an Eddy will be Caceres, the last map of our last series. We'll be getting that in game number 2. And then Circuit Breaker, Sylphid, and Blockchain as our last map. I think that would actually be a crazy cool way to end an epic 5-game series. So where our first series was maybe like 25 minutes to an hour, this series actually has the potential to be much longer.
Yeah, Terran versus Protoss, definitely one of the longer matchups. It's almost guaranteed that you're going to get to the 15-minute mark because players are so solid these days, they almost always go for 2-1. But with TerrOr in the mix, you don't know what he's going to throw at you. There could be Marine Medic, there could be 6-fact timing, there could be some weird 1-base play. So I'm ready for this. I'm also really excited. We got Caceres for the second map. So we got a mix of standard, then we got an unstandard, then we got standard again with Circuit Breakers, then we got an ASL, then we got 2 ASL maps coming up. So I like that we don't have Eddy, Circuit Breaker, Sylphid as the first 3. We've got Caceres mixed in. We're guaranteed to get it.
Yeah, I do enjoy seeing a different map in the first 3, just so that it can, dissipate these, let's pick only standard 4 and 3 player maps. So anyway, let's get into game number 1 of our second best of 5. The winner of this advances on to face TerrOr in the semifinals of BSL Season 6. So there's a lot on the line. Let's get into game number 1 on In the Way of an Eddy. All right, welcome everybody to In the Way of an Eddy, our second best of 5 here in the BSL Season 6 playoffs. In the upper right-hand corner, in the red from Russia, playing from Korea, this is 2.Dewalt. Actually, is he back in Russia yet? I think he might have actually returned.
I thought that he was returning sometime in March, but I don't know exactly. But yeah, if he's still in Korea, it would be on his last legs in Korea. But in the bottom right, we've got the Terran Hope from Peru. It is TerrOr. And I bring it up often that this map is an inverted ramp. Will 2.Dewalt go for some type of pressure? Like Boneth, we know that there's going to be Zealot pressure. That's 100% guaranteed, just like Dandy's going to gasless expand. But 2.Dewalt, I don't know what he's going to do. He, like I've said before, he's more, for me, like the defensive guy. This may be the map if you're going to put pressure on. You want to do it on Eddy?
Yeah. It's certainly a great idea. Because if you can get control of that natural area, then you should build like a ring of cannons around the Terran's base or something like that. It's hard to break up there. Obviously, both of these players are super, super good, so they're capable of making the best out of a bad situation. Let's see, because I'm glad that you contrasted 2.Dewalt's style with like Boneth's style. Boneth, nobody plays one base better than Boneth feels like, because he's gonna go from Zealot pressure into like one base speed shuttle Reaver drops. It's not gonna get better for you as the game goes on. So I want to see what this looks like for 2.Dewalt and how he chooses to expo here. It looks like there's just one gateway in the main, so nothing weird so far.
Well, we got 14 Command Center from TerrOr.
Oh,
so this is very uncommon, and this has got to be a 2.Dewalt specific move. Whoa.
Wait, what? That's not where you build the command center.
So actually, I was watching a flash VOD literally yesterday, and he did this on Fighting Spirit, where he walls the entrance with the command center and the barracks. Now, I'm not so sure about this, to be honest, because even if there's Zealot pressure and you stop it, right, the Zealot is still going to be sitting here, and it's going to be able to hit the SCV, I would assume, like where they are right now, right? And it's going to delay the building of the racks. And I don't know how well this would play out versus a Zealot timing, but because this is 2.Dewalt, look at this. There's no Zealot pressure, so TerrOr is going to get away with this.
Well, wow. Okay, so there's actually no punishment. I remember watching the Terran player Light try to do this wall off at the upper left-hand expansion. But Marines pop out on the bottom right-hand corner of the barracks, the bottom of the barracks. So we got z0rynich rushed, and then his Marines popped out on the outside of his barracks and died. And then he lost the game, and I was like, okay, well that's just horrific. But because you're on the bottom side of the maps, you can do this, and yeah, because there's no Zealot pressure, yeah, you're totally safe. Although on the other side, you can't really mine efficiently from this command center. But hey, it's there, it's completed, it's early, and so it's I don't know. I guess this is a good way for TerrOr to get that up a little bit more safely than just straight up putting it on location.
I will. This is weird that we still haven't floated the command center. Of course, there still is the threat that you don't want Protoss to just run by one Marine in a bunker, because Protoss only care about one Marine. But I am a bit surprised that now it's not even lifted. But behind this, TerrOr's doing pretty normal. We got factory coming up, and we've got abnormal. Well, normal for Eddy. This is 2-gate from 2.Dewalt. He's going to be putting on a lot of pressure. And versus gasless expand, this can be very punishing. Your take is going to be very late. You're going to have to pull a lot of SCVs to repair, so you kind of are negating the econ advantage. He's got to be careful with these Marines. If they die, you don't want to build excess Marines with a build like this.
For sure, and you're also going to have to just spam repair this bunker because it's 2-gate goon, so this is just going to be quite a bit of pressure here, even having to lift the barracks off. put that behind everything. And with range, yeah, we're just going to be chilling here for a while. And, you know, maybe this will equalize because of the extra economy that TerrOr got. But he did have to reposition his command center. A lot of lost mining time there. So I don't know. I'm sure in the end this will kind of even out to where DeWalt is maybe in a tiny advantage. But I mean, well, you got to pull some more SCVs here. That bunker's pretty low. Oh my goodness, this is so crazy close. No, he doesn't have enough preparing. He's going to lose the bunker. Oh my god, it's down to 50 HP and it stays alive.
Yeah, I think this was a 10-18 from DeWalt, so he has an unreal amount of Dragoons coming out. And TerrOr, even once he gets this tank out, he's going to be so careful because 4 is the magic number versus the tank. If you get 2 volleys or 2 rounds of volleys off with 4 Dragoons, it will die. And again, Protoss is not scared of 1 bunker. If this tank is just slightly out of position, DeWalt will instantly go kill it.
Now, it should be noted that it's not like he's continuing to rally Dragoons across the map. If you had, like, you know, 8 Dragoons right now, yeah, you're right, it gets super crazy. Trying to move forward there is a little bit crazy because he almost lost one of those Dragoons. But even still, he gets a couple of SCV kills, and I think this is about it now that Siege Mode is done.
Well, even though DeWalt didn't get many SCV kills with that attempted attack, that was a really good timing from him because normally you're getting Siege Mode maybe at around like 6 minutes, but TerrOr had it at 5:45. So normally DeWalt would have had about a 10-second window to go just kill an unreal amount of SCV. So I like the attack. TerrOr has optimized the build a little bit just to get the tank out slightly bit faster and not get punished so much, but he is getting punished a bit building all of these turrets. Now, what could this mean? A lot of times when a Terran player builds turrets like this, it usually means they're going for a timing, but we see an academy going up. Usually if you're going to go for an academy build, that means you're not going to have something like a 6-fact, 5-fact timing. So I'm curious what this is going to be, because again, he didn't scout. It seems to be that it's just blind Reaver counter, and that's exactly what DeWalt is going for.
Yeah, I mean, DeWalt is a great Reaver player, so it doesn't make, or it's not too surprising to see him go for this. Although I would say that, you know, for TerrOr plays a little bit, you know, you can tell me what you think about this, but it seems like for TerrOr, it's most important for him to get to like a safe space, you know, a place in the game where where everything is pretty standardized, where he doesn't have to worry about all of these crazy shenanigans. And I don't blame him. I feel like that's a general Terran sentiment. How do you feel, Nyoken?
I mean, that's what I like, is I don't want to have to deal with any shenanigans like Reaver drop DT and be worried about it.
No way you can hit that turret from there. That's so dumb.
That's a Dragoon, baby. That's the most broken unit, right? That's what people were putting in their profile, not the Vulture. Dragoon, look at it, took it down. And if you're, like, to be honest, losing a turret like that is not a huge deal, but from TerrOr's point of view, like, Dragoon sitting there trying to kill a turret, like, are you trying to get in? Now he's going to be paranoid about defending. This time, DeWalt is going for that.
Yeah.
But if DeWalt
That's actually huge.
If DeWalt wasn't, and for some reason was like quadruple expanding, you know, like we're overbuilding defense in this area or moving units out of position.
I feel like the Terran race is just there to make you just super neurotic. Because all of a sudden, how do you get out there? Oh my god, that scared him! No, 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 no! Wow, that could have killed every SCV. Nice race. Gets out with the speed shuttle and the Reaver inside. And so there's no tragedy. We've averted all of that for now. But hey, there is that third expo coming up for DeWalt.
Yeah, so we got third base coming up for DeWalt, third for TerrOr. Behind it, he's hitting his factories pretty much perfect. The 8-minute start of third, fourth, fifth factory is just great. He's got his armory going. He's got +1 spinning. So this is going to be TerrOr going into the standard 2-1 play with good econ. Really didn't take a lot of damage. He had to repair the bunker for a while, but he didn't lose SCVs. 10-18 is really a pretty, it's not all in, but it is pretty committed from DeWalt. So TerrOr's going into the mid game in a very good spot.
Oh yeah, you know, it sucks to kind of expand towards your Protoss opponent, especially since this is kind of an open third base. If he wants to go up there, I'm guessing that's where he's expanding. Yeah, floating that command center upright. But as a Terran player, when you're expanding to your third base, when the Protoss player has no probes mining at his third, that's pretty good. And with that earlier command center, TerrOr is just totally chock full of SCVs, so he can pretty much instantly saturate when he wants to float that out there. But needs to make sure he can hold it first.
Yeah, so I heard a scan go off.
Yep, snipe the observer.
Okay, well, the one thing that TerrOr has not recognized is that DeWalt's got that island base, and you see him playing a little more passive before taking this third base, because I think he may have scanned the main and saw 4 gates, and a lot of times when you see 4 gates or 6 gates this early, you are kind of worried about getting busted. But DeWalt has transferred probes to top middle, so he's got good saturation there. He's got good saturation at his nat, his main. Everything looks great for him. I do have to point out, though, that I don't see Templar Tech. I don't see Stargate. No Arbiter. Where's Artosis? We got a Gateway man on the loose.
It's true. I was waiting for any other like hint of, play style, because I was like, oh, sick. He's got a Reaver and a shuttle, and then that basically does nothing. Now he's got a second Reaver in the shuttle this time around. So while yes, he is very heavily a believer in the Church of Gateway Man, he's also got a double shuttle Reaver coming in here. And I think as soon as he busts through this barracks, or at least forces it to lift, maybe he can try to push on in a little bit, because that siege tank is a little far back there. All right, yeah, just moving it up a little bit.
Well, TerrOr, everything so far is pretty perfect. I think maybe he needs a few more factories. When you're going 3 base, 8 is minimum. 9 is pretty much you're very committed to this. So we've got 6 and 7 coming down. He's really on top of his macro. We got 130 to 150. I mean, that's pretty damn good, especially knowing I don't think TerrOr has scanned the main yet to identify that we've got. Okay, there was a scan. What did we see? He has scanned the main, so he sees the Templar archive. He still doesn't confirm if there's a Stargate anywhere. But really, if you're gonna have 2-1 with Max versus Protoss with no AOE, no Arbiter, I mean, this is about as good as it gets.
Yeah, I mean, wow. Okay, Vulture's running out. The Gateway unit's trying to corral them, but no. The Vultures, Nyokin, they're too fast. They're too cost efficient, too effective, and they scout the shuttle too, so they're pretty good at doing that.
Now, TerrOr needs to start, like, once the 2-1 kicks, he's got to go in, because DeWalt's already at 4 base. He's thinking about taking a 5th base. We're going to go from DeWalt only being on 10 gate to probably 20 gate very quickly. The longer the game goes, his econ's just going to be starting going haywire. And
just mass scanning every base.
yeah,
okay.
mass scanning. I think he's on the same train of thought that I always get onto, is I saw the Templar archive, but where the hell is your Arbiter? Like, if I see no Arbiter, I'm like, all right, well, you're dead, bro, because Terran units will flat out kill Gateway Man.
Yeah, I mean, one great way to prevent that from happening is to clear out all the minefields, so that you don't randomly lose all of your dragoons. But he's already actually lost, I think, 2 or 3 dragoons to mines so far, so this is not a totally safe endeavor out here. But usually at this point, I'm starting to see massive waves of Vultures just plant oceans of mines out there on the eddies of this map. And we haven't actually seen too much of that. So, it's great by DeWalt to see this vigilance as he continues to try to expand to the other bases on the map.
This is getting very scary for DeWalt, because we've got about 17 tanks for TerrOr. He's got 7 facts. I would like to see at least 1 more fact, maybe more add-ons now that we have 3 gas. And I have not seen a single Templar pop out. I'm trying to find where's that shuttle. Nope, there's no Templar in it. Now, the Reavers are great, but Storm is fantastic. I just don't know how DeWalt is going to stop this army, because we've got 2-1. It's about 20 seconds away, and TerrOr has a pretty big bank for being on 3 base, and his tank count is absurd. These units are going to die so fast, I imagine, unless we just have the best engagement on the planet coming out from DeWalt.
No, yeah, no, I totally could not agree more. The stasis, I feel like, is maybe sort of the great the great equalizer. If you can land some money stasises, stasi, whatever you want to call it. But I think there's still only one arbiter, right?
I don't see a single arbiter. But what are these
There's
units
one-
doing out in the middle map?
Yeah, there's one arbiter right by the observer that just got scanned and taken out. DeWalt's going for it. He sees the unsiege, and so he's gonna move in before these tanks are actually seized. That lets the zealots get on top of them, and so the crusty outer layer of tanks is actually going to be devoured first. Of course, the opposite way that you want to eat your Terran pizza. I don't know. It's not going to be good for Terror now. He's going to lose the entire outer wall of tanks and vultures, but actually, oh no, the Reaver! I thought the Reaver was going to get the money shot off, but in the end, it actually just winds up getting left behind there. So actually, in the end, Terror holds there, but I mean, he's not on 20 gateways.
Well, unfortunately, Rapid, my replay is corrupted because I have both players with 6,000 minerals and max.
Oh no! Well, we can restart this. Sorry, that sucks. It must look really weird. Okay, we can like pause and restart the replay if Zero wants to help us out there. Otherwise, I don't know what else to say other than that fight must have looked weird if none of the units died. That's not what happens in TVZ fight. Let's see. No, it's okay. So Zero drops a small spoiler and says maybe there's not that much replay left. I'm just gonna commentate the rest of this as best I can. And I will say that you know, I kind of underestimated the ability of DeWalt to produce, or the inability of Terror to reproduce an army. It looks like he has somehow pulled another army out of his sleeveys and is now trying to come across the map. He's got high ground, he's got a huge siege up, and there's actually not that many zealots. So it's just Dragoons fighting Terran, upgraded Terran mech units. And something tells me that may not go so well for our Protoss player. He does have a bunch of gateways, but as is the fate of all gateway men, it is to die most heinously to upgraded Terran mech units. So I feel like that is about what we are about to watch. As yeah, even though there was a little bit of DT play in, Terror was totally prepared for that. Bunch of science vessels and scans out, and so with the siege coming down into the natural, DeWalt does not have a lot of units left. He's got some ragtag rebel forces out on the side of the bases, but I don't think that's going to kill the evil empire of Terran as they push through into the natural here. Yeah, it's just so hard to get these Dragoons up a ramp. They're all dying to siege tank fire. There's 30 supply advantage right now, which is overwhelming, but the Terran reinforcements coming, and oh wow, I think this is going to be pretty difficult to do anything about. There's also another base coming up, or two other bases coming up for Terror. No, it's just one. But anyway, he's got a lot going on for himself behind this natural expansion, which is destroyed before it's even mined out. So, oh, huge mines blowing up all the Dragoons, and that sucks because Nyokin couldn't see the glory that was Terror beating DeWalt in game 1.
Yeah, I missed it. Like, on my screen, I saw 4 Goliaths and 2 tanks move out, and then 8 Dragoons attack it. It's like, what? And you're telling me there's an Arbiter out on the middle of the map, and then I saw both players banking 4,000 minerals? So unfortunately, I didn't see it, but I mean, from what I could see building up to it, Terror's build looked really strong. And like I was saying, Terran is not scared of pure gateway man or just one arbiter. They're not. That's just how it is.
Yeah, there was only, I think, one arbiter. It did get a pretty good stasis off, but I think in the end, DeWalt just had so many Dragoons and, well, so not very many Zealots. That was a very good game for Terror. I think it's kind of hard for me to analyze that because it seemed like, I think the most kind of volatile parts of the game were, can Terror defend against this early game, like Reaver drops, and he did it really adeptly. So I'm just like, okay, well, if you can get 3 bases up by the same time the Protoss has 3 bases, like, you're probably in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, and Terror is someone that when he mixes in macro play, it just makes all of his other play so much more deadly. Now that he's mixed into one, he could mix in Marine Medic. He's gonna throw DeWalt off with every build coming out now because DeWalt doesn't know what to expect. There are some games I watch TerrOr, every single game it's a cheese. Now we've got this macro play mixed in. So TerrOr's got, we could see TerrOr take this 3-0. That's how strong he is.
Well, yeah, he is actually insanely strong. It's so impossible for me to like pick. I was looking through and kind of doing my own little mini predictions for BSL round of 8, and I'm just looking through it. How do you call these things? I would say that I'm a little bit biased for players that I've met. So anybody that I saw at the 20th anniversary Brood War LAN, also I saw DeWalt out here in Korea. I'm gonna feel the same way when Eon is out here eventually. It's hard for me to kind of look at a game like that and be like, well, what do you do differently as DeWalt? He's got to mix it up. We are getting on to Caceres, and maybe that is a map that's going to mix things up because it is certainly a little bit less familiar than Eddie.
Yeah, and we pray for close spawns. Again, if we get close spawns, we're gonna see something.
Okay, well, let's get into game number 2 on Caceres so that we can in fact see what that something is. Oh boy, here we go. We got another one, Nyokin.
Oh, I am so ready. I am so ready for this. I think this is actually the first time, or maybe like the second time I've ever seen a Terran vs Protoss on this map. And now we got horizontal spawns. I can tell you, when you play versus Reaver players, like deadly Reaver players like Snow, you don't want spawns like this because you know that this Reaver is going to come and it's going to deal ridiculous damage. There's not necessarily one thing that it'll kill. Like, is it going to kill your SCV line or is it going to kill all your tanks? There's potential to kill depots, SCVs, tanks. It's going to fly away. You're never going to kill it. And then Protoss is just going to catapult in the lead. But going up against somebody like TerrOr, we may see some type of like mass drop play, some type of like really weird, like blockchain-esque play come out from him.
Well, that's the thing is like when you spawn close spawns on Caceres, this is like bloodbath player spawn differences. Like you're actually just right there, and especially if you're going for like a one base drop play on either side, yeah, you're just gonna like it's like you put your units in like a trebuchet, and you just fire them straight into the enemy base. So I'm very excited to see what this game sort of evolves into once players figure out where their opponent has spawned. So just for opening builds, we're not going to see another one of those crazy fast expands from TerrOr, so there is justice in the world, and Terran players can't just get away with any expand they want to in TVP. And on the other side, it's just a one gateway start, so pretty much exactly the same as DeWalt. Although I do want to see if he's going to go for that two gate goon pressure again.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see that. I think that we're just going to see standard play from DeWalt, like Goon Observer. But I would really like to see Reaver play, just because the spawns are so close. Like, we're going back to, like, Lost Tempo era. Like, this is unreal how close the bases are. Now, DeWalt hasn't scouted yet. This could be TerrOr's lucky day if DeWalt scouts vertically, does not recognize that TerrOr's horizontal. Maybe too late for DeWalt to go for super fast robotics. Now, what is TerrOr's response going to be? He's still got 3 on gas. I predict this is going to be some type of dropship play.
Wouldn't be a bit surprised. The other thing I was thinking about is maybe you go like, you bust out the 2-port Wraith on this map, and you just run it in, and they're just like, oh man, I really wish I had gone Starport. That is definitely not going to happen, but the thoughts are in my mind, Nyokin. And I too hope that we get to, climb on up the Terran check tree and see just like a crazy battle of drops. I'm gonna cough drop in because my throat's a little bit messed up, and it's trying to stop me from talking about the epic drop play that I hope is in our future.
Here comes the Zealot pressure from DeWalt. It's not going to do anything. TerrOr's already got set up very nicely. And what will DeWalt's response be? Now he's confirmed that he is right next to him. Are we going to see a fast robotics? Is the starport going to come down? He's got the gas. Oh, no, he doesn't.
Yeah.
Where?
Yeah. I looked at the
Terror-
minerals there. Now he's got the gas, or at least he will in a second.
TerrOr had 3 on gas for a while, and then I guess he took off, and now he put back on again, but I don't see a command center, I don't see a starport.
Well, there's the Robo, so... Robo should be coming down on your screen unless our replay is bugged again.
Yeah, I see the Robo.
Okay,
So
alright.
the DeWalt also probably suspects that TerrOr's going for starport play. I mean, that is just kind of like probably the agreed upon build of what players are going to do with despawns. So I like this play from DeWalt. I am so shocked that there's no starport.
Yeah, he's going to go for a command center instead of starport here, and of course the eBay. But you're right. He knows where his opponents spawn. He knows he's right there, and I feel like for all Terran players, maybe you can tell me this is true. As soon as you see a Protoss player spawn that close to you, this is basically like he's proxying his shuttle. That would scare me enough to just instantly try to get some way to defend that. But I guess for TerrOr, it's just going to be with turrets.
Yeah, like DeWalt instantly built a shuttle, and then he built an observatory.
I don't know about the observatory, but
that's a little weird to me. And,
yeah.
But these turrets, like, look at how big Kaisera's main is. You got to build one at the ramp. He's got to build one down by the mineral only, and then he's got to build like 3 on the left side. So that's what, like 375 minerals and turrets. That's a lot of resources to build, and it's not like turrets can move where you're guaranteed to get a shuttle kill. Whereas if you get the starport and the wraith, you can at least chase it down, make the shuttle be a little bit worried. So I don't know. This is pretty expensive move from TerrOr. There's the support bay from DeWalt. It's in the back of his base.
Yep, so Reavers are going to be coming down, and I am waiting. I thought he was going to go with a couple of Dragoons to make it harder to build missile turrets, but I guess we're just going to wait for shuttle speed and Reavers to kick in. And the first few turrets are coming down. There's one just by the command center, but he's going to need to, start that turret ring up pretty soon. Otherwise, there's definitely some room for the shuttle to come across and deal crazy damage. Let's see what this observer gets across and sees.
Well, he's decided to build a turret right next to the command center. I like this because if you build 6 turrets, that's so expensive. It's like all timings just go out the window. So I do like that TerrOr's decided that if he's going to build turrets, he's going to only stick with 3. It's not going to be a huge commitment, but he does have to be careful now. He's got to keep units in his main because, again, the Reaver can be microed versus a tank and a turret. Now, the Observer saw the turrets, and because of that, instantly third base from DeWalt, but this is mid-left base. You can't get to it very easily, just like Eddie. So this is essentially going to be a free third base for DeWalt. And for TerrOr, again, this seems to be... Well, I was going to say it seems to be 2-1, but the armory timing is a little slow. So this is most likely going to be a +1 timing. Here comes that first Reaver.
Oh, man. Man, it's too bad that Protoss units don't work the way that they should. All right, second Scarab coming down. Oh, picks it up before it has a chance to fire. Unlucky. So, yeah, the Sacrificial Zealots got turned into Dragoon Souls, and it turns out that all of this drop tech is not going to be effective here for DeWalt.
Yeah, so the Reaver play really didn't get that much damage done, but we did have an SCV pull, and this is something people don't think about. Look at the main saturation. We have 9 patches, but there's only 10 SCVs mining. But look at the natural. There's 8 patches, but there's way more SCVs there. So the mineral, the income is not optimized right now. So the Reaver, even though it didn't get kills, it has distorted the income coming in from TerrOr. TerrOr, he's decided he's going to go for macro play again. We've got a third command center coming down. I thought that this was going to be a +1 timing with the slightly slower armory, but he's decided that he's just going to go again 2-1 and look for that 14-minute timing.
Oh, I'm glad you pointed that out about the economy. I just kind of assume that it just works itself out, but also it's a lot harder to count like workers in StarCraft 1 as opposed to like StarCraft 2, where it just tells you how many you should have there. So definitely one of the underlooked, I guess, things that you can put your attention on early on. So yeah, if you're going for macro play and you don't have optimized economy, well, obviously that's not going to help you out at all. So here comes another Reaver drop. 2 of them down here. Exploder 8 and some Marines, but there's no Charon boosters, so it's not very difficult. Actually, they kicked in right as it left, so nice. Dewalt gets out with both Reavers. This is a 2 Reaver shuttle. If that gets taken out, that's a big hit.
Yeah, it is going to be a huge hit, but I love the Reaver play so far from DeWalt. Even just getting in and just drawing units out of position. You know, it's forcing SCVs to move off the line and repair. That also makes TerrOr worried about a potential attack at his front because you know all the units are in the main. And I heard scans go off, so what did TerrOr see? Okay, he saw mid left, so he's confirmed that there is a base there. DeWalt is going into... is it Arbiter play? I don't... Whoa.
He's gonna get still have 3 gateways and legs? Yeah, how...
Oh,
why is the speed so late?
Yeah, mid left there's an expansion.
Okay, wait a second.
Okay, what time is it? Okay, yeah, something's definitely wrong because my resources are much lower than the resources that you see.
Yeah, okay, so the all right, the replay is in fact bugged. So I'm like comparing notes between my screen and then the stream, and also my replay is bugged too. So everything just looks so comical. There's a Dragoon sitting on top of a vulture in the middle of the map for me. So I know that's got to be not right. These things are not friends. So okay, I'm gonna exit the replay and then we'll get right back into it. Sorry guys, looks like this is our lives now. Okay, so I'm gonna get back into this. Well, before everything got kind of out of sync there, I guess we really hadn't seen too much. The only thing that kind of impressed me is that, you know, DeWalt does have those 2 Reavers in the shuttle outside the natural, saying, okay, well, if you want to try to come across the map and push me, or, you know, if there's anything surprising, I think he's in a pretty good spot to kind of defend against all of that.
Yeah, both players seem to be in a pretty good spot right now. I'm waiting to see what's going on in DeWalt's base because before we left, I didn't see gas at his natural or his 3rd base. And again, that means we're gonna have very late Arbiter tech, Templar tech.
I think he did have gas in both of those, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know how bugged our replays were at the end of that.
So we were at 9:30.
All right, I'm super excited to find out what the game actually looks like now.
All right, so pause. Let's load up your. I'm looking at the stream to see what we've got.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So let's go ahead and get back to our game. We're gonna go back to about 9 minutes and 20 seconds into the game. This is basically screen, except zero's dropped apparently. Nope, we're back. We're good. All right. So yeah, there are no gases at the natural or 3rd base, just like you said, Nyokin, and so that should be pretty. That should make it pretty difficult to get any of this high-tech Protoss out.
And I do see on stream that we have, I don't have a discrepancy between my own game and Zero's game. So everything looks pretty good. And yeah, just like I was saying, there's no gas. This Arbiter timing, now again, Eddie was bugged a little bit for me. We may only have 1 Arbiter versus this incoming 14-minute 2-1 push from TerrOr. And it's just going to be so hard for DeWalt to deal with. Now, the Reavers have bought a bit of time. You can see that supplies are much higher for DeWalt this game as opposed to last game. But really, it looks very similar almost.
Yeah, no, that's actually a great point because we're seeing similar expo timings. That was what really kind of caught me off guard. Is that somehow, and TerrOr does this more remarkably than I see almost any other non-Korean Terran player, is he finds ways to get these expansions up. Whereas most Terrans would not feel maybe as confident. He's just got a really good read on exactly when or how defended his bases are. So lots of siege tanks and a deep siege line with some vultures coming out, but he doesn't actually have deep minefields stopping this Protoss push across the map. So DeWalt is going to go for a very concerted attack here, and he's going to get into a pretty good spot before he heads in. Zealots in the front taking up those initial tank shots, and the Dragoons coming in from behind. The Zealots actually do penetrate to get back on the tank line, but it's actually so deep. How good are these Scarabs going to be? It looks like there are some good connections here, but both of the Reavers are still alive. The longer they stay alive, the better and better this gets for DeWalt.
Yeah. TerrOr, what does he do now? He's down. He's almost doubled in supply. There's only one tank at the natural, and that's also where both of the armories are. So TerrOr's whole strategy is down the train if these armories go down.
Uh-oh.
Taking so much damage. Oh, DeWalt hitting at the perfect time. Right before TerrOr got all set up there. Oh, the natural will stay. So that's a nice hold from TerrOr, but he did lose his third. He did lose his natural. He's down way in supply, but luckily for him, again, that tech is delayed from DeWalt. But because of the damage he's done, it doesn't matter that the tech is delayed because it's not like TerrOr can attack at 14 minutes now. Now we're looking at maybe a 16, 17-minute timing coming out from him.
So as a caster who is not as good as these players, I look at that expo from TerrOr, and what I was saying is, wow, you know, it's remarkable to me that he feels secure in this because, you know, it's just a really scary time for a Terran to be expoing. And then you find out, wait a second, it's not totally secure because DeWalt is just such a badass. He hits right at the perfect moment and takes it out. So, you know, he didn't kill the command center. It's not burning down. So there is still that opportunity for TerrOr to re-expand, but man, he just doesn't have that much.
Yeah, and you can see that. Well, I thought he was going to attack because we have pretty fast 8 factories, but he has started respinning or re-upgrading. He is going to try and macro out of it, but it's going to be so difficult. DeWalt taking 4th base.
DeWalt also losing that Reaver and Shuttle combo, so that's going to not be ideal when it comes to re-engaging this.
Well, yeah, not ideal, but it's not the worst because it's really kind of hard to control the Reaver. Now all he really has to focus about is the gateways. Now he's running in. The mines were great, but there's just not much here for TerrOr, so DeWalt's going to bust through again.
Yeah, there's not that deep a tank line here. There's only 2 sieged tanks. They do actually survive for quite a bit longer than I expected, but the Dragoons and the Zealots are already back on top of the one sieging up in the back. Now, the Dragoons were fighting basically by themselves, and so obviously tanks are pretty good at stopping that. But it's a relift. It's continual reset of the Terran mech forces, and so I don't know. This is just not looking that great for TerrOr. He tries to reclaim that natural expansion or third base and is unsuccessful.
Yeah, DeWalt doing a good job, just constantly attacking, making sure TerrOr's always on the back foot, never get his third base. I mean, DeWalt can afford to have trades like this. It doesn't matter. He's got 4 base, TerrOr's got 2. The command center even almost died, and he's just resetting the tank count over and over. So like last game where TerrOr had 20 tanks, that is certainly not the case this time. We've got 3. So TerrOr can't even think about counterattacking really at any point. And now DeWalt's putting down more gates. He's got double Stargate, so he's gonna have 2 arbiters pretty soon. Should really all DeWalt has to do is once he gets this arbiter out, he may not even have to wait for stasis, but if he does, just wait for stasis and go. His army's just gonna be so much bigger than TerrOr's.
Yeah, every time he moves across the map and resets that tank count, he's putting on more and more gateways behind it. And so he's continuing to get this crazy economy up. He does now have gases at both of those bases. He didn't, and it's going to have arbiters. So everything you said is not going to make it that much easier for TerrOr, who is, I think, now maybe successfully gotten that third base up, but DeWalt's just kind of ballooning out of control here, it feels. He's got such great map control and vision as well, with huge Minesweeper units out across the map. And now he's got double shuttles, both with tons of Zealots inside of them, so I don't know how well this is going to go. There's obviously the dream for Terran that everything drops into mines and explodes, but I don't know how much of a reality that's going to be.
Here come those shuttles. Oh, he's just unloading. Make sure TerrOr didn't hide a base at mid-right. I like that. And it seemed like DeWalt was going to attack there, but he's decided he's going to back off. I wonder if he's going to wait for recall energy. No, he's upgrading stasis, but he could use those shuttles to tank hits for the arbiters and then do like a massive recall. It seems like he wants to attack. Well, he wants to attack, but after seeing all those mines explode, I don't think he's going to attack just yet.
I think you really gotta make sure that you don't just sack everything into siege tanks and mines. Terra has done a great job of sort of setting up the Terran dream, and that is just such an entrenched position that if you break it, maybe you win the game, but if you don't, then you're just going to trade so cost inefficiently. And for DeWalt, I think he's kind of correctly analyzed this and said, well, why would I go kill you if I can just get, infinity bases across the map?
Yeah, I mean, Protoss can just wait. He's got enough gates where when he needs unit, he can just build them immediately. Oh, is he going to go? Does he have stasis? It's about 5 seconds before stasis.
Scoopy deal, really awkward timing. There we go. We've got at least one stasis here. Where's it going to go? Catches a huge clump of vultures in the back, but not actually taking out any of these tanks. It's a very deep tank line, but it's carpet bombing on top. The double shuttles going all the way deep on top of these tanks and keeping these Dragoons safe in the back. So actually, this is not that bad of a bust, but with all the Zealots going down, it might turn into it. Because now the Dragoons, of course, cannot fight these siege tanks, and the next wave of Zealots comes a little bit late there. So sure, it forces a relift on that base, but it doesn't actually reset the Terran mech that much.
Yeah, that was pretty much perfect defense from Terra. He lost the minimum amount of tanks. Really, the only reason he lost so much is just because DeWalt's supply was so much higher. But here comes DeWalt again. This time, there is still one more stasis available. Now that's going to be a juicy one. Getting a couple tanks and a couple Goliaths. Now all the mines are cleared, so the Zealots are going to be able to get on top of these units pretty quickly.
That is like the most money stasis I've seen in a while. Plus, it's a remax on Zealots for DeWalt. He just built, I think, 20 Zealots out of 10 gateways at a time, 2 rounds of those, rallied across the map, and now, where's your Terran god now? The tank count continuing to get just pushed back into the Stone Age. I think he has 4 tanks total unstasis, and that is just not quite that many. I also thought that DeWalt was going to target down the CC there, and that didn't happen either, so still, I mean, Terra's alive, but DeWalt just keeps kind of bludgeoning him over the head with his Protoss army.
Yeah, and DeWalt really doesn't have any worry. He can take bases whenever he wants them. Terra is struggling to get his third base. He's mined out in the main. He's essentially mined out at the natural. These Vulture run by isn't going to do anything. And Terra, he does have mid-right set up, but there's no SCVs. Oh, he did clear the pathway, so that will get saturated pretty quickly. Also, the temples are up at the bottom side, so he doesn't have to necessarily worry about a big bust coming from that angle, at least just yet. So Terror is stabilizing about as well as you can do, but can he really overcome this just huge deficit? DeWalt just has so much of the left side of the map.
Yeah, I mean, somehow through all of this, it's so impressive to me to see that Terror is getting more bases out there. That's a 3 o'clock base just now coming online. The workers ferried over to it. But, I mean, damn, he is really just continuing to get that tank count reset. And for DeWalt, all of this means that he can just expand wherever he wants, taking now his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th base down in the bottom left-hand corner, which is as far away from Terror as possible, so should theoretically be the safest base to take. All of these things look pretty good for DeWalt, but you know, those upgrades are still going.
Yeah, Terror's about to hit 3-2, so DeWalt has lost 2 or 3 armies. Now, he did deal a decent amount of damage, but now Terror's back on 2.5 base mining. He's got mid-right set up, he's got SUVs there, and it's not like DeWalt has that huge Protoss bank that Terrans are really scared of. He is pretty low on money. If there's one more botched attack, Terror is pretty much even in this game. All he really has to do is get this high. Oh, there's a huge recall in the main, but a big mine hit.
Yeah, the mine hit really makes all these Dragoons super squishy, and with the Arbiter going down, it's not like you'll be too worried. It does clear out the turrets though, so any future like drops or recalls will be pretty effective in there. He's trying to get back and maybe target down this tank. He will get the tank down there, and now maybe just make it easier for future recalls to come through, because there is a second Arbiter with full energy looking to come in.
Yeah, he's just waiting. Terror doesn't know about it just yet. He's probably going to wait for... Oh, no, he's just going to go. This vessel doesn't have energy. It's at 80.
Oh,
That's not a huge
no.
recall. That's not that
Yeah,
big.
it's not the biggest recall. He does have Storm in it, so there is a big Storm on those back tanks, so they should actually be taken out post-haste. And this is starting to actually really kind of catch Terror off guard, because he can't keep pulling his army back into the main to defend this, and also keep those extra bases out on the map safe. So sure, this will be kind of cleaned up because it wasn't that big a recall, but just look at the infrastructure he has to rebuild. A bunch of supply depots, all the turrets get taken out, and so this is continuing to just be total struggle town here for Terror.
Yeah, I'm kind of just wondering, where is DeWalt's supply? Because he's almost maxed, but look at where all of his units are. I mean,
I think it's in probes.
That's really tiny.
If you look at all of his bases, he's mining off of like 4 to 4.5 bases with pretty decent saturation. So that's a lot of supply and workers. Now, obviously, it's not all there. There's still big gateway army just being recalled in the main again. No mines there to stop it, and the turrets were not effective. So good luck dealing with this one, Terror.
Yeah, this might be what breaks the camel's back. Tons of units just flooding in. Is there another Arbiter with recall? No, that one has 110. Almost all of them have 110 energy. So this may just, he may just on the next attack, next move, just try and bust through the front. You know where all the units are. They're defending in the main, and then you mass stasis the entrance. That will just be able allow DeWalt to plow through the third and plow through the fourth.
Oh my god, another gigantic storm on the units coming up the ramp. An Archon being morphed in does not tell the tale, and this is just going from bad to worse. The Terran main, once you could really breach that, I feel like it's just kind of a festering wound that Terror keeps getting sicker and sicker, not in the good way either. He's got bases that function outside of his main, but it's just so hard to reclaim that production.
Yes. Oh, here comes another Arbiter. Does this have EMP?
God.
It does have EMP. It doesn't have 150 just yet. He's gonna get
Oh,
it.
he gets it! Nice.
But the thing
like
is, there's another one.
Oh
it's sitting
my
at the natural, but he hasn't sent it. There it goes. That's not even the one I was talking about. There's one like on the between the main and the natural,
you're
the
right.
high ground. That one has a recall. So eventually we're gonna run out of EMP. You got to get these mines down, Terror, ASAP. These vessels,
the mines are coming. There's no turrets here. There's one Goliath, but that's not gonna stop one. Oh, recalls right onto the mines. Huge mine hits go off, but somehow the Protoss army abides, and it's gonna clear out the rest of that. And oh, mine drags into tanks. Oh, it's just going so terribly for Terror.
Yeah. Terror just having such a hard time constantly defending this. Now the command center is going down. Vessels, they can't die. One goes down. And this is it's got to be it pretty soon. There's just DeWalt is just huge at this point.
Man, watching this, like, you get vastly different impressions from watching like Game 1 and Game 2 of the way that this matchup looks. Because you watch this game and you're just like, well, what's the Terran player supposed to do? He can't take a third base, he loses that. He can't defend his main even with like tons of mines and EMPs and turrets and all this stuff. And, you know, obviously, you know, there's extenuating circumstances that make this possible. But damn, DeWalt, once he gets a lead, it is so crazy how good he is. Even though Terror also did a really good job at restabilizing that third and then fourth base afterwards, I think, yeah, DeWalt has just done a little bit too much damage here.
Yeah, Terror has had really good defense, and like I said just a moment ago, like, DeWalt is maxed, but that attack was really like 2 groups. Like, if Terror was able to stabilize and take mid-right, or the high ground, he would be in a fine position because DeWalt is not having the greatest trades other than the recalls. And now Terror's finally seems like he'll stabilize his main, but we're getting doubled in supply. We lost depots. It's just now we have Arbiters with double stasis available. Like, it's just a matter of time before Terror breaks. We also don't have any more mines at the entrance. There's no more SimCity wall. And now the big threat is now DeWalt's taking the right side of the map.
Yeah, and eventually DeWalt will actually start taking bases. You're right on that right side of the map that TerrOr will need as the game continues. So even if he can maybe get another base up and defend his main, which by the way he can't do because there's an Arbiter recalling in it again, I think this is the kind of the straw that breaks TerrOr's back. g0rynich will bring this series back to even at 1-1.
Yes, that was a great game. I liked DeWalt's play. I also liked TerrOr's play. What really broke it? Oh, that was just that first attack. DeWalt did a weird speed zealot attack, and unfortunately, TerrOr didn't have any mines. And versus timings like that, you gotta have mines or a SimCity wall or even a bunker. And he just didn't have any of that. Allowed access onto the tanks, and once you reset the tank count, even just once, sometimes that's all Protoss needs.
Yeah, also the construction of the tanks was such that like once the Zealots got on top of them, there wasn't really, like you said, no mine buffer, no vulture buffer. The Zealots just kind of ran a little bit faster than I think TerrOr was kind of expecting them there too. So yeah, that's gonna tie the series up at 1-1. We finished off Caceres, which was a really interesting map. I don't think I've seen games play out quite like that on other maps. So. Sweet build there by DeWalt brings him back to 1-1. So now it's essentially a best of 3 for which player advances on to the next round of the BSL playoffs. And if I'm not mistaken, the prize money actually starts going up pretty crazily. So once you qualify for playoffs, you get at least $25. But then if you qualify through to the semifinals, then you get that quadruples up to at least $100 for 4th place, $150 for 3rd, going all the way up to $400. And of course, a big thanks to Blizzard for sponsoring the BSL prize pool. It's kind of insane how much more money you get just by making it one round deeper in the tournament.
Yeah, I mean that's totally correct. Like,
this is also a big motivation for Nyoken too.
Yeah, it's like almost winning an entire tournament. Like, have it you that'd be comparable to winning to the whole thing almost. So it's a huge leap. Players definitely don't want to lose in round of 8. They want to get that big hundred. They want to get that Franklin.
What are you gonna do if with the $100 that you win if you advance on to the round of 4, Nyoken?
I haven't thought about it yet because it's gonna be tough to get there for me. I've already kind of accepted I'm gonna get the 25.
Okay, I mean, I can respect that. Realistic goals on the horizon, because you know it's a lot different, right? Because maybe your goal at the beginning of the season is to advance onto the playoffs, and you're just like, well, yeah, I'll get that $25. You know, I'll get like I don't know, I'll buy all those Pokemon cards I always wanted to, whatever it is that you're gonna do with $25. But then you get $100. All of a sudden, maybe you're switching to Magic the Gathering. I don't know. You know, you're living that life. That's all I'm trying to say.
Maybe.
Anyway, we're getting on to game number 3. It's on Circuit Breakers, so a really kind of standard map to kind of tip the seesaw one way or the other, figure out which player will have the advantage going into one of the final games of this series. So let's get into it. Game number 3 on Circuit Breakers, DeWalt taking on TerrOr. All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the bottom left-hand corner. The map Circuit Breakers in the blue. This is our Protoss player from Russia. It's DeWalt.
And in the top right, got the Terran player. It is TerrOr. So even though TerrOr lost last game, I actually think if I was in TerrOr's position, I'd be feeling pretty good because Eddie was a solid win. DeWalt hit a timing last game, but he could for like 15 minutes. So I would be feeling pretty confident from TerrOr's point of view. And DeWalt, now, of course, he was just leading the whole time, but to not be able to finish off a Terran like that, maybe DeWalt should be a little bit nervous about trying to take out TerrOr.
I mean, I think anybody would have to be. This guy is just so good. And honestly, I was so impressed with how well he stabilized after having that third base busted so many times.
it's a little bit like I don't know, you know, if you have an injury at the same place over and over again, it sort of gets like scarred to add that extra defense. I feel like that's kind of what happens with Terror. Like the more times you break him in one place, the better he gets at defending it somehow. I don't know, but we're cross spawns on Circuit Breaker, so it's just gonna be a while.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to see what is Terror gonna go for. So we got in base racks. That means we're gonna have another 12 gas from him. And DeWalt. Where's that gas? Whoa, we got a second pylon, no gas. That means we're going to have some zealot pressure with Nexus behind it. Probably gonna have at least 3 zealots, maybe 5. And I guess he may be thinking that, well, Terror played pretty greedy on Eddie. This might be another time for him to play greedy again. But fortunately for Terror, he is not going for low ground expansion. It is just going to be a safe 12 gas. Look at this scout from Terror. I love this scout. Remember, DeWalt just played Dandy.
Yeah.
And DeWalt proxied there. So Terror's
Oh,
aware.
you're right.
Terror's aware of that DeWalt can mix it up on maps like Circuit Breaker. So I love the fact that Terror scouted that.
That's a fool me once kind of build. It's like, well, I know that you're capable, and you really do have to kind of figure that out, because I don't know. I feel like a disproportionate amount of games are, you know, the one game in 100 that these players cheese, and it's in like a best of 5 in the playoff stage. So I think also that would be like a super big tilter if Terror didn't scout there, got cheese there, and all of a sudden he's, you know, on match point. It's like, okay, well, you don't want to do that to yourself, so better safe than sorry. So yeah, here's that zealot pressure you were mentioning. Second one just now coming out of the base. First one heading up the ramp with a probe, but it's a pretty solid defense there. Hold position. Oh no, he actually sneaks right by. The zealot's already on the Marines. Is he gonna get a Marine kill almost just right off the bat? It's close. There's the barracks and supply construction is a little bit off, because he wants to try to trap or keep the zealots from getting behind the mineral lines. So actually, probe versus Marine, probe wins. How broken is that?
Pretty broken, and this lack of depot is going to come back to hurt Terry, because he lost several Marines. Really, when you're doing this style, you don't want to build more than 3 Marines, and now he's forced to build 2 more. Also, Vulture coming out. DeWalt hiding this second zealot. He saw that the Vulture was being built. As soon as he thinks that it's out on the map, he's going to send it in, and we're going to have a low Marine count versus the Zealot. The Zealot can kill all those units. Here comes the Dragoon.
So crazy.
This is so close.
Yeah, it's because you would never see this if you had that supply depot built next to a Rax. And now that the Dragoon is here, all of a sudden you can't just rely on the inevitability. Oh my god, so clutch that the bunker gets up. But there's no Marines to put inside. No matter how hard that Vulture tries, no matter if its mom tells it can be whatever it wants it to be, can't get inside that bunker. And so now there's a Dragoon with impunity.
This is heartbreaking for Terror. He's had to build so many Marines. They've all died. There's still nothing in the bunker. Meanwhile, DeWalt is just rallying units across the map. We don't see any tech coming down from him. He's probably going to double expand off of this. And also he gets a full scout off the entire time. So he knows that it isn't like Terror's 2-facting behind it, or there's some starport or anything. He knows that this is just going to be a command center. And his response is going to be the robotics facility. I suspect that this is going to be Reaver play again, because really there's no threat from Terror. You don't need the observer. He's gonna get the SCP. So annoying.
Oh man, yeah, this is just gonna go kind of from bad to worse here. Terror has kind of righted the ship. He's getting that expo up, but you know, even that's a little bit slow because he had to build so many Marines.
And Terror did scout the wall, but the SCV is dead, and it's been dead for a while. And now when you're in this position as Terran, you got to be worried about all types of stuff. Is he going 2-base Arbiter? Is he going Reaver? Did he double expand? And you can see Terror knows that he's sending a Vulture across the map. He's got mines. When he sees that there's no Nexus at the 3rd base, he's going to be very scared. What is this guy doing? I would suspect it's got to be Reaver. But it doesn't necessarily have to be Reaver. There is the support bay coming out for DeWalt.
Yep,
And-
with the support bay on the way, it is going to be that Reaver tech, and I think the biggest thing for me is that DeWalt functions so well when he's able to just keep his opponent just a little bit off balance. And he's so good at doing that. So little things like this zealot pressure, I don't think you ever expect for that to just straight up kill the other guy, but once he sees, hey, you know, wait a second, he doesn't have that depot next to the racks, he doesn't have the bunker built at the fast time, and just little tiny things keep going in DeWalt's way. So let's see what he's going to be able to do with the Reaver. First vultures on the map, planting annoying mines. So we'll see if that scouts the shuttle when it leaves.
Again, Terror's doing the 3 to 4 turret play that we've seen him use in most of the games. This is exactly what you should do when you're in the dark like this. And I like how he's constantly moving the vulture back and forth. Because if he can see this shuttle out in the middle of the map, that's going to buy him a few more seconds to get his units into position. Also, it confirms that it's most likely a Reaver play. It's not going to be DT drop most of the time. So 2-base Arbor goes out the window, DTs go out the window. Here comes that Reaver. It has loaded up, and if he doesn't change course, the mine will not intercept it. Also, the vulture, will it intercept it? I think it may come back and see it, so this is going to be great. Oh no, is he going to miss it?
How good is patrol? That's not good enough.
He's gonna
or
keep
is
see
it? Oh, no way. You notice how the Terran player had to do something to scout that? Or wait, no, he just...
He didn't?
He did the Ron Popeil infomercial build, where you set it and forget it, and it still worked.
So this, you see that it forced DeWalt off course, and now it has bought time to get this other turret up. There's more tanks ready. One more tank got out, and this Reaver drop really is not going to do much. Now behind this, DeWalt is going for an expansion. The armory has finished for Terror, so again, he's going into the upgrade style. Because it's been delayed so long, you can definitely assume that this is not going to be a timing. Probably going to try and camp it out just like last game. And despite him taking a lot of damage, I don't really mind his position because DeWalt has delayed his third base for a while. And Tank Goliath can push Reavers back. So I feel like Terror's going to get his third base pretty easily. And we're going to go into another macro game.
Yeah, I think absolutely. Once you commit to this Reaver tech, if your opponent is just really airtight, and that's pretty hard to do, yeah, what are you going to do with all of this? So I think he's just going to try to maybe slow push through the bunker at the front, but even that's not, total guaranteed. Oh, actually, no, he's going to go into the main base here. Maybe try to pick off a turret or two. See what he can do.
We were trying... Yeah, I don't know what DeWalt's goal is with this. I think it's just to draw attention. Even if you don't deal damage, if Terran, like for example, if they start missing SCVs or they miss a depot, that's damage without, you really doing anything. He's just moving a shuttle back and forth. It's nothing.
Whoops. Well, that's the little Dragoon that couldn't. Gets out 23 HP, and I agree when you were saying, well, DeWalt's not going to do a push here. And then he comes out with a push, and I'm just like, well, that's not going to work. And indeed, it doesn't. But I don't know if this is just his way of sort of keeping the pressure up, keeping just continuing to do these skill checks on Terror to say, well, if you're not just totally defended here, maybe you can find another way to get in.
Yes, I don't think I've heard a scan go off the entire game.
Abby
So
is
Terror
my
still
favorite
doesn't know.
Naza.
There it is.
Oh, there it is. Terror still doesn't know. Is this a bust like last game where he ran speed zealots into my third? What is this exactly? So he's got to be very careful. You see how slow he's taking this third base, and this Reaver is still just sharking around. Now the turrets are set up, so he won't be able to get in. But still, those are extra turrets Terror didn't want to build. I saw the starport being built, so we're going to have the +2 starting pretty soon. And again, this Reaver is just denying the third base for so long. But the vulture at the bottom is denying the fourth base for so long.
Yeah, this is kind of neat that both players are doing so much to keep this extra base from coming down. That's neat. But I think eventually this is going to be more holdable for Terror. He's going to get his base up just a little bit faster. And in the end, yeah, this is going to be up to DeWalt to say, well, does he want to spend some time doing minesweeping to get his bases up on his side of the map, or just rally across the map and go for one big kind of Hanbang kind of aggression?
Well, this is the bust again because we've got Zealots coming across the map. Speed is
Yeah.
about to kick in, and still no mines. I don't see any. There we go. They are being placed down. Now, I like to also mix in a bunker here because it draws a lot of the focus fire from the Dragoons. But he needs more mines than just one. This is. Oh, he's coming in right now, but I don't think there's enough mines.
Oh, no.
To get on top of the tanks. No, are they?
Yeah, look at these Reaver shots on the tanks in the back. He just killed all the tanks in the back with that one Reaver, and now there's just not enough here to defend this third base. The Zealots going deep in this, and I don't think there's anything to stop them. The tanks just evaporating here, sublimating. They turn straight from solid into a gas. And I don't know what they're going to do to reclaim this. There's just zero army now. There's a couple of tanks. There's literally 2 tanks defending that natural expansion here. Maybe there's one extra one on the high ground in the main, but I don't know. This is just such a crazy good push by DeWalt. I think every Protoss player, you got to start looking at this because it's working 2 games in a row.
This was just a really nice timing from DeWalt, hitting right before mines essentially. And again, Terra just lacking the SimCity and the mines. If he had it, for sure he could have held it because the Zealots kind of came in a big blob. They would have died to the mines pretty easily. Now behind it, DeWalt's taking a 4th base. He's got Arbiters already almost halfway done, so this is pretty perfect. And what has Terra got? He's got 6 facts. There's no science vessel. He's got +2 just now starting, but that's not going to kick in for a long time, and DeWalt's just going to be too big.
Too big to fail. Yeah, so the U.S. Bank of DeWalt, where all Protoss players need to be investing in at the time being, because it just seems like it is so incredible. Look who's getting bonus value out of this Reaver that's down here. What a legend. He's
Reaver
kill
has
this
the
last tank. Oh my god, he's gonna kill the tank at twist. Damn, okay, DeWalt. I mean, he didn't really need that, but you know, he went for it. You gotta respect it. Wow, I mean, Terror has his 3rd base, but at what cost, right? There's a 4th and now a 5th on the way, or soon to be on the way here. For DeWalt, I think this is just going to look like a carbon copy of that game number 2.
Yeah, where he's going to be setting up for max timing with stasis again, and this is not like Kaiseris where he can put a bunch of depots everywhere. I mean, I guess he can if he's going to wall like himself completely in. But I don't suspect Terror to do that, and I just feel like there's really not going to be much to stop it. We're doubling in supply.
Oh my god. Man, the ability to build units out of gateways, Nyokin, how useful a talent is that to have? Yeah, he's pumping off of, I think, 12 gateways right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 gateways. And it's just mostly Zealots, and he's getting recall behind this along with that Arbiter tech. Coming through, so ooh, this is just a spooky, scary adventure here for Terran because it is very dark out there. He's doing the Scotty build where he just doesn't know a whole lot.
Yeah, here he goes, 180 to 110. He would need a miracle to hold this. No depot wall, no eBay, no turret even.
Oh no!
Oh, did he just use all his scans? No, he has
a
few scans available.
Well, there are a few mines here, but they might get drug onto these vultures. As is, there's just so many gateway units up here. He's going to try to maybe bulldog in here with a shuttle. Actually, he already used it, lost it. The mines go up in smoke, and so does this 3rd base again. Oh, he stasis the SCVs on the tanks as they're running away. You'll never mind with those again. You'll never mind at this 3rd base again at this rate. The supply, even after busting through there, is still massively in DeWalt's favor. He might even go into the natural with this push, Nyokin.
Yeah, he's probably going to kill the natural. There's only 2 tanks for defense, really. And every scan is so important. Okay, he still has 3 left. The vessel is out, but he doesn't know about it. Terror might hold, but it doesn't matter. We've got 5 base versus 2 base. He lost the command center. Tank count got reset again.
How long until we start, like, banning people who practice in Korea from these tournaments. They're just too good now, Naoki. I don't know. DeWalt just, I think you can see a crazy good improvement in not only just his general play, but this build specifically. I don't know if it's DeWalt playing it really well or TerrOr not being able to find a way to deal with it, because it just seems so potent against the style he likes to play.
Yeah, for sure DeWalt's hitting very nice timing, and TerrOr is literally like 10 seconds off. 10 more seconds, he probably would have had mines everywhere. He would have had depots set up. He would have been, he would have had the defense that you need to stop it. But DeWalt hitting right before it, exactly what he needs to. And now we're seeing the result, 200 to 70. There's no hope for TerrOr at this point. Here comes most likely the killing blow. There's just so much DeWalt streaming across the map. Unlike last game, he doesn't have 150 probes. He's got a real army, and there's just nothing left for TerrOr.
Yeah, it's sad to say, but this is definitely the end of TerrOr's army. GG. DeWalt, 2 games in a row, puts himself on match point with a 2-1 score after 3 maps.
Yeah, and that was a dominating game. The Zealot and the Dragoon just did way too much damage, and that's what happens when you play Terran and don't build your depots in the right spot. You just get punished so hard. It's like mandatory that you have it set up. Also, that Zealot's getting by the SCV on the ramp. What a tilter. What a tilter.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, it's kind of crazy to see a game that ended like that with this huge macroed armies out, but then kind of began all the way back from like one building not being placed in. You know, this is where I have a problem talking about Brood War to people who don't, or have never played it before, or don't understand RTS games. Because I go up to them and tell them, well, you know, you see, he didn't build his totally neutral supply depot building next to a barracks, and he lost the game because of that. Because they're just like, that just sounds so stupid. But it is so important because you need to fit the Marine between there so it survives against the Zealot. It's this crazy web of butterfly effects that kind of went on from there. But I mean, wow, what a all the way from the beginning, DeWalt just kind of in the driver's seat the whole way. And as we get into game number 4 here, I mean, if you're TerrOr, you really got to start to figure out, A, how do I play against this build, and B, you know, what build do I go to turn this around? If I'm not mistaken, what's the next build? It's Benzene as our 4th map. I thought it said Sylphid, but it looks like Zero has corrected us. It is Benzene. So a massively different style of map to play than these big maps like Eddy or a Circuit Breaker.
Yeah, this is going to be completely different style. And last game was really, I'm going to say, the real first hit to TerrOr, because even though he lost the game before it wasn't like he defended very well for the whole game, so that's kind of fine. But this game we got hurt a bit. So now what's his mindset now? Is this the time we see TerrOr pulling out the funky builds? Are we going to see the 5-fac, the 6-fac, Marine Medic? Are we going to have BBS? I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely think obviously you have to play a different style, but for me, I think to myself, okay, well, you know, if you had a hard time taking a 3rd base on a map like Circuit Breaker, where it's kind of still there, 3rd base on Benzene is definitely harder to hold there. And if you just go inline on Expose, it's a mineral only, so no more gas there. So I don't know. It's going to be exciting. Let's get into it. It's game number 4 of our 2nd best of 5 series of the day. DeWalt up 2 games to 1 over TerrOr. All right, welcome to game number 4, our 2nd best of 3 or best of 5 series of the night. In the upper right-hand corner in blue, down 1-2 against his opponent. This is our blue Peruvian Terran TerrOr.
In the bottom left, we have the Russian Protoss, showing that Gateway Man is alive and well. It is DeWalt. Uh-oh. I knew we were going to have shenanigans from DeWalt. I just had a feeling.
That's quite the
forward gate. This is not just going to be a forward gate. This is going to be a proxy gate somewhere.
Ooh. Gateway man, take me by the hand.
Oh,
Lead
no,
me
we're
to
not.
the promised 3-2 land. Yeah, what is up with that?
He's
That's
gonna
the pylon
gas
in the
steal.
main.
He's gonna gas
Have these Protoss players no morals?
No, they're Protoss players.
No.
Every
No.
single time I get Overwatch, they gas steal me. That's all they do. Proxy gate, proxy gate. Sometimes they mix it up. They're like, well, I'm gonna gas steal you and proxy gate. I'm like, wow, thank you. This was a very enjoyable game. Here he goes. Luckily for TerrOr, he has his SCV out and he sees it coming. Instant gas.
Oh, that's really nice. I think the probe can actually kill the extract or the
He
refinery
wants it.
if he micros it hard enough. Yeah, he's doing it. 4 damage at a time, Nyoken. He'll get it eventually.
Look at this proxy racks from TerrOr. This is weird because a lot of times when you get gassed on well, not a lot of times, but sometimes when you get gassed on like this, they do follow up with Rally Zealot or Proxy Zealot or something, and now you have your barracks out in the middle of the map? I don't know.
Well, obviously
Also,
we're just now starting gas.
we
sorry,
did
what were you
start
gonna say?
gas. We did start gas, so it's not going to be gasless, but still, the Protoss may just build a Zealot anyways. But at the same time, DeWalt saw the SCV move out, and because of how fast the gas was, he should know that it's not like TerrOr has hidden 2 racks somewhere on the map. So even though he doesn't see the racks, I don't think he's worried about getting BBS'd. And there's the first Zealot, so he's going to be feeling pretty good about, well, if I just build a Zealot and send it, I'm most likely going to fight 1 or 2 Marines, because if it's proxy somewhere, it's going to still have to travel back to the main.
And he'll see the SCV too, so that pathing should give him extra information. Also, keep in mind, TerrOr still doesn't know where DeWalt spawns, so he can't just send the Marines straight there. This is just really... I'm not sure if it's a big brain play from DeWalt or if it's... is he going to get that SCV? Oh my god,
The probe.
So I think that Rax was TerrOr kind of thinking, well, what if DeWalt 12 next behind this? Maybe I can just go and put the pressure on, but he didn't. He built a Zealot behind it, which is basically the opposite of that. So I think DeWalt once again starts the game out from the get-go in a pretty strong position.
Well, this is going to get ugly because look at that factory placement. It's not next to a depot. So these Marines have to run for their lives until this Vulture gets out. And the Zealot, it's already got 1 SCV kill. Oh, he found the weakened SCV. How did he do it?
Are you kidding me? This Zealot's got his Sherlock Holmes detective hat on. It's got double brims. He's like, I can find the source of the missing SCV mystery. And turns out he pulled the Scooby-Doo mask off and he was the one that did it all along. I can't believe that he hit that. It's so hard to do, right? Because not only are you in a mineral line where these SCVs are stacking up on top of each other, but also Zealots moving through SCVs is just janky as all get out. So, wow. That's maybe a tilter if these last 2 games that TerrOr lost haven't been.
Here comes the Dragoon. This time TerrOr is going to be set up perfectly. And not going to get any kills, but he also confirmed that the Vulture's not there. Oh, where's that Dragoon going to be? Yeah, smartly moving the Zealot back onto his ramp. Vulture won't be able to get by. No. Oh, I thought it was going to get through. But he does manage to save it. That was with 1 hit from the Dragoon.
Yeah.
So nice save from TerrOr. And what is TerrOr's follow-up going to be? Is again, I don't see second factory, no academy, no starport. Seems like we're... Oh, there's the eBay. So it seems like we're just going to continue to go with this macro 2-1 style.
Well, you know, the definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. I think once DeWalt tries to scout this, and sure, TerrOr's in a better spot in this game than he was in the last one, and it's a much different map. But I'm wondering if DeWalt knows how to adjust that previous build to have the same effects on a different map. Obviously, not every build works for every map. So I don't know if there is a similar push that DeWalt has figured out to stop TerrOr's third on such a small map.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, but I love Terror's placement of this vulture. You can actually shoot down onto onto probes if it gets close enough to the ledge. Oh, DeWalt literally just moved his probe out of range. How does he do it?
Is that Gosu Korean training, man?
Well, again we have Reaver play from DeWalt, and again, Terror without vision. He's just content with building these 3 or so turrets at his main, natural, and between the main and natural. So again, he's setting up. There's the armory. So again, we're going to have the 14-minute 2-1. Well, I assume everything so far is leading to that. And I feel like, again, this Reaver play is most likely not going to deal any damage. Terror's had good defense versus the Reaver. It's just what's happened after it that has caused him to fall apart.
Well, even if you do come back from this and tie it up, I think it would just be so huge for DeWalt to take this 3-1 win. Like, that's got to feel like super, super good. But at the end of the day, you're advancing to face TrueTouch. And I think DeWalt's actually taken out TrueTouch last season, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check the brackets there.
DeWalt,
oh, TrueTouch beat DeWalt 3-2. Yeah. So that would set up a pretty sick rematch there. I'm kind of getting a little bit hopeful. We get a chance to see that. But, Terror advancing would also be super sick. He's just got a long road ahead of him.
Yeah, well, so far, so good for him, other than that one Zealot killing 3 SCVs. Nothing insane has happened. Again, these vultures might move out right when the shuttle moves out. No, it doesn't look like he'll intercept it. But again, like, Terror already has tanks and marines set up in his main, so he's pretty Reaver tight for now. I can't imagine it dealing much damage. He's got his 3rd command center going. He's got +1 started. Vultures are going to see this late nexus, so he knows there. Now he sees the shuttle, so now he knows that he's actually in a pretty good spot. It's not like DeWalt has some kind of super econ that has gone unpunished.
Tanks are sieging up actually a little bit late. Let that Zealot and Reaver get out a little bit early. Well, it gets one shot off on that tank in the back, but it's going to be okay for now. So the shuttle backs off. It's just going to regen some shields on everything. And what's up?
Look at this observer. Oh my gosh. I was going to say, look at this observer at the 3rd base from DeWalt. It was literally a millimeter from being within range of the vultures. I was so scared that he's going to transfer probes and the vulture would just run in. But now he sees them, so he's perfectly fine everywhere. But Terror is also perfectly fine. He's got basically as close of supply as you're going to get versus Protoss, 80 versus 70. His command center is about to finish. Almost at the same time his Nexus is going to finish. Just needs to float it down there. He's in a pretty good spot. I like what we're seeing so far. Here comes 5 gates. That's 5 factory. That's a lot of production coming out from Terror.
Yeah, Terror is really starting to hit his macro, and I think that's where Terror is truly scariest. When he is able to get that infrastructure, get his Terran legs underneath him, and as long as they're not feet of clay, there's some chinks in his armor that DeWalt can exploit. He will have a very solid infrastructure. Behind this, there is double Citadel of a Dune being built by DeWalt, so I don't know what's up with that.
It looks like just a slight mistake there, but again, he's getting the speed.
They're right next to
upgrade.
each other.
He's getting the speed upgrade very quickly. This could be another very similar timing, but I feel like Terror is gonna be more ready this time. Also on Benzene, we see that he's floating the eBay with the command center. What I like to do is put the racks, eBay and depot and bunker all right there, and then you're just like so tight. Any timing, it's almost impossible to make work. So I wouldn't like it if DeWalt is setting up for that. We've got 6 gate, 8 gate with speed almost done. He canceled the Citadel, by the way, Rapid. He saw it.
Yeah, he did see that one right at the end. It's important to keep your builds tight. What's that copy pasta? It's like awesome picks, great size, looks thick, solid, tight. Keep us posted on all your continued progress. Well, I'll keep you guys posted on DeWalt's building progress as he looks to tighten up those builds just a little bit. Sorry, I had to get my one terrible meme into the show.
I don't know that meme, so I'll have to look it up afterwards.
I just linked it to you in Discord, so you can have fun with that.
Okay.
I'm on it.
You're already
even
on
if
it.
even if I miss the builds, I got the memes on point. So let's watch DeWalt as he pushes in. I feel like this is supposed to be sort of this map's version of what the previous push looked like, but this time there's 0 zealots with it. It's just all dragoons, and you can't push across bridges into tank fire with that.
Well, here comes DeWalt with the speed zealots behind it, and look at supplies. I don't know what happened, but we're down 55 supply. TerrOr has mine set up. There's a sort of depot wall, but not really. But this is a 60 supply advantage.
Yeah, what?
DeWalt should be able to just plow through, but the units are getting clumped up on the bridge.
Yeah, the zealots are behind the dragoons, which is, I mean, maybe you tank one shot with the dragoons, but you can't tank much more than that. The Reaver drops into the mineral line. It doesn't get a single scarab off, so that's obviously less than ideal. But what is also a struggle here now for TerrOr is that the zealots are on top of his entire tank line in the back. This is, again, a great way to reset the tank line and a great way to deal so much damage here to the third. But TerrOr refuses to lift. He is fighting this to his dying breath, and well, he's got, I don't know if he has too many more of those breaths left. As DeWalt once again smashing this third base wide open.
Yeah, so DeWalt again hitting with this very nice 11:30 timing with Mass Goon, Mass Zealot, and TerrOr just doesn't have enough. Again, forced to lift. It's gonna kill the racks, kill the eBay. TerrOr. Okay, here's the reason we don't have any units. Look how many factories he has. He's put down 9 factories so fast that we must have missed the macro cycle, and because of that, he's getting punished. And DeWalt may just push it to victory right now.
Yeah, first of all, DeWalt's macro actually insane. Second of all, when you catch the Terran with his factory pants down, he's missing macro cycles. You're just having to put that much resources into just building factories. That infrastructure, so you can't kill Protoss units with the factory buildings themselves. So, man, I think DeWalt has just done it for the 3rd time in a row. A similar timing on a very vastly different map, and he keeps on doing it. Now, obviously, you don't want to overextend here, so I think that might be what he's doing right now. He gets the final tank, then maybe it's worth it, but he does not. And so that's, I guess, a hold from TerrOr? Not completely. He did lose a lot, but at least he can get the 3rd base back up and running.
Yeah, he will hold for now, and I'm going to say lucky here. There are other Terran players that will disagree. But luckily for him, DeWalt's going carriers. So it's going to take a while for DeWalt to get critical mass. This may allow TerrOr to get 4th base up. If he can get 4th base up, he's already almost got +2. +2, you know, very strong versus carriers. So unupgraded carriers versus highly upgraded Goliaths, you know, it's going to take a long time for the carriers to be scary to the Terran player. So I feel like that I wonder why DeWalt decided to go for carriers, but here comes a big vulture run by. He needs this to deal damage.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to get in there and snipe a couple of probes, but there's actually not that much at the base in the first place. So time to piece the scene. Sorry, all right, vulture gang, move out. I don't know what else TerrOr can do aside from really hope that moves like that work.
Yeah, I mean, we were just talking about how he's down 50 supply, but now, well, he was only down 15. He's got a pretty sizable army, but he needs to take bottom right. I just don't think he knows about the carriers just yet. I heard a scan go off. Where is it? It is in the main, so he sees it, and because of that, that's got to trigger an expansion from him. He's either going to all in, like this is it, this is like, we're not going for +3, we're just going to mass Goliath and go, or he's going to try for split map. Honestly, just building Mass Goliath and go might be his best hope. Here comes another big vulture attack, killing a lot of probes.
Okay, all right, we're getting in there. The Gateway Army is never more than a screen away, though, so reclaiming that base. And of course, there's a fully saturated one in the upper left-hand corner of the map that the vultures have yet to approach. Yeah, with these cannons coming up, I mean, this is just kind of last-ditch effort from TerrOr. It's getting pretty decent damage done. Like, these are vultures; they're basically free and have a build time of 0. So, you know, it's nice to see that TerrOr is still being proactive while shoring up his defenses back home.
Yeah, the probe kills are nice, but what I'm most worried about now is that we didn't take a 4th base. That makes me believe that we're going to attack. And if we're going to attack, we may have actually needed those vultures, right? We need the tanks to survive. We need the Goliaths to survive. Because if even 2 carriers are alive and we have no anti-air, you know, they're flat out never going to die. And yeah, Terror's going to attack. I don't think he can bleed these vultures. That's going to be a huge mistake.
If he bleeds those vultures, there's just not that much. There's some Goliaths, okay, not that great. And all the tanks are clumped up and unsieged, so that is also not exactly where you want those to be. So, I mean, to be honest, TerrOr is pumping out of an insane amount of factories here. It's 1, 4, 8, 9 facts. So he is just really macroing as much as humanly possible. But man, DeWalt is just doing the same. He's got more bases up, and I don't know, this is just going to be such an intense kind of final moment to the game. If TerrOr can get the units that he needs on this high ground in a good spot, then maybe he's got a spot in this game and in the series, but otherwise DeWalt's looking to close it out.
Yeah, TerrOr's got a humongous army, and the carriers are only +1, but we've got +2, +1 for TerrOr. His army is just insanely strong. Also, the Gateway army is really not the greatest. It's like Mass Goon. Almost. Well, okay, there's a bunch of dots on the left side, but if he can control this well, look at the supplies. We're even in supply, and you got to think that DeWalt probably has more probes than TerrOr has SCVs.
Yeah, what? How did we get here? Okay, the Dragoons in the front are going to take the first round of tank shots, and now the Zealots are going to trickle through right in onto them. But they're on the bridges! You can't get Vulture, or you can't get Zealots there. But now it's finally time for Carrier Man to arrive. The only problem is there's basically Goliath Man on the other side.
Yeah, and how many Goliaths we have? I think we have about 15, and he's got more coming. Did TerrOr really just do this? I haven't seen a single tank go down. Here we go. Here comes the big engagement. DeWalt's supply is way lower.
What? How good is TerrOr? What is this guy made out of? I don't know. But we haven't mined that mineral on this planet yet. Yeah, DeWalt's absolutely in shambles now. He lost his entire Gateway army. Sure, he's got 4 carriers in the air, but there's a million thousand Goliaths on the ground. This is like if the carriers are David, yeah, TerrOr's Goliath.
Okay, now I did see DTs come out, but he did manage to pick off one of the carriers. But does he recognize the DTs? Oh, a huge storm with DTs on top of the Goliaths.
And now that means the DTs actually one-shot the Goliaths because they're such low health from the storm. These DTs are actually like such a sick move here. The only problem is they're so expensive that now DeWalt made those instead of rebuilding Zealots or Dragoons. So yeah, maybe DeWalt can kind of hold on here after only losing 1 base, but I don't know if it gets much better from here.
I think that DeWalt did it. We've got 5 carriers now. These Goliaths are so weak that you see them almost instantly die. And tanks and vultures, they're great, but they can't hit the carriers. The carriers are just going to reign supreme. And we see DeWalt taking top middle, bottom middle. TerrOr cannot deny both. He does have bottom right. Well, he's still favored in supply, but his, I don't know, the carriers, now that we're approaching critical masses, it'd be much harder for him to have an engagement like that. Also, TerrOr was across the entire map. He didn't really have to deal with walls and high ground like that. And now dealing with carriers on these ledges, that's so difficult.
Yeah, this is basically made for carriers. This is so good. And as long as he doesn't lose a carrier, there's one that's on red HP at 95, so you have to keep that careful. Also, interceptors take a while to build, so just chill out. DeWalt, you did it. You saved your upper left-hand base, and now it's, of course, expanding down there again. And if he loses this 6 o'clock base, I don't think that's really a big tragedy, right? Because he's got so many bases on the other side of the map.
Well, TerrOr's about to have a key upgrade kick in, because +3, it's almost done. And we only have +2 weapon for carriers. There's no armor. There's shields, but no armor. That means carriers and interceptors are just going to get massacred if we can get up to a decent Goliath count, which we probably will because there's only 4 carriers right now. Is DeWalt going to go for a counter? Look at where the factories are. The carriers can legit kill factories if there's not enough Goliaths.
Yeah, and he's going to pick off the Goliaths as they're spawning where they're weakest and get the factories themselves. But at the same time, you got to be careful, because if you lose these carriers, you're in a pretty bad spot. Then again, if TerrOr doesn't kill these carriers, he's in one.
So the first factory going down. It's a very big pickoff because TerrOr does not want to be rebuilding factories. That could have been a tank. And now DeWalt's going to back off. He's building more carriers. How many is that he at now? Looks like he'll be at 6. Really? When you've got +3 versus 6 carriers with no armor and just +2, that's not that scary. Also, I'm trying to find... Okay, there's the real threat. We've got 4 Templars. If he can just combine the carriers with the Templars, it'd be so hard to engage with the Goliaths.
Am I correct in seeing this +3 air weapons on the way, Nyoken?
Yeah, +3. I think in general, Protoss players, if they can only afford one upgrade, they like to go +3.
Okay. Yeah. Those are scarier carriers.
Indeed.
Sure.
But here comes another huge attack. Now, this time we've definitely got enough Goliaths. It's all going to come down to the storms. If the storms hit the Goliaths, it's going to be a thing of beauty for DeWalt fans. But if they don't, TerrOr's going to... I think he's just going to plow through.
Yeah, I think he absolutely can do this. He took out all of DeWalt's observers, so he doesn't actually have any way to reveal these mines, and so it's a decently sized gateway force, even supplies for both sides, and a decent ledge for these carriers to be on. And he has gone up to 6 carriers that are all full-on interceptors. So sure, that's a lot of Goliaths, but it's all about these storms and the Templar. How well are they going to deal with this? It's so close. This is going to be kind of that last big, final, epic battle for Middle Earth or the Lonely Mountain or whatever you want to call it. We're fighting for it right here and now, and it's in this 12 o'clock base.
Yeah, he's getting so close. It's got to be an engagement pretty soon from DeWalt. He's setting up for it. Here it comes. Those Templars, as all the focus comes down to those Templars. So many Goliaths. Oh, that's a good storm.
Yeah, it's another decent one up in the front. The DT's getting taken out, though, in the end. Another great storm there on the back. A bigger one right on top of it. But the gateway count on the ground is limited. There's no more interceptors. Are all the interceptors gone? They're just not out. Okay, yeah, he's got to rebuild a bunch of those. I think he just forgot to queue them up in that last fight or something. There's just not that many here, and there's so many Goliaths down on the ground.
Yeah, and really not that tanks went down, and there's not that big of a ground army for DeWalt, but he is up 40 supply somehow. He's down. He's got enough interceptors. Oh, the tanks are so close to the left, allowing DeWalt to pick off tanks for free. Here comes like a flank from the sides. The Goliaths are moving way out in front. If they, oh my God, I think he's gonna.
So he's gonna get carrier. He gets it. There's 4 left. Still a lot of interceptors here. I don't think that TerrOr has enough Goliaths on the ground. I think DeWalt's done it.
Yeah, it seems that DeWalt has done it because TerrOr's army is non-existent now. SCV's randomly at the top. I don't know. Oh, there was a counterattack at bottom right that we missed.
Yeah, DeWalt sent a zealot down there, or I think a couple of zealots, and killed every single SCV at the expo. So they only just now ran back down. But, I mean, this is starting to get a little bit rough. Third base, Natural and Main are all mined out for TerrOr. He has no mining except for this bottom right-hand base. And you're going to need way more than that to stop this massive carrier gateway army that DeWalt has out on the map.
Yeah, so unfortunately, TerrOr is going to, unless there's a miracle, which I just don't see it happening. Unfortunately, he's going to go out 3-1. There's just no counter to these carriers, and now we have a real ground army with it after our tanks have been reset. And this is most likely going to be the death push. DeWalt coming in here with Mass Goon, Mass Storm everywhere. There's the GG. DeWalt going to take the series 3-1.
I can't believe how good TerrOr is to take all of these beatings and then come back with a huge macroed army. I mean, he was pumping off of 9 factories, but it just astonishes me how DeWalt can run across the map, kill his entire army, and then by the time DeWalt has remade his out of like 10 gateways, TerrOr's already back up to even supply. Man, just such a sick game there at the end. I never knew who was going to win it until right at the very end. The suspense was incredible. What an insane series. Congratulations to DeWalt, though, for advancing 3-1. Wow.
Yeah, that timing from DeWalt looked unstoppable. Like, it worked every single time he did it. But TerrOr's macro fantastic. I agree with what you said. It's like, I look, he's down 50 supply. I look a minute later, he's even supply. It's like, what just happened? You just lost a third base and you're back even. So he's a macro god, but unfortunately just taking a little bit too much economic damage. Imagine if he didn't take that, imagine if he took half the damage, right?
Yeah.
I don't think DeWalt stops it. Like, it was just, his army comp was perfect, but DeWalt just barely had enough.
Oh, truly, how blessed are we, the 502 of you guys out there who got a chance to watch these series. This is BSL, Bombastic Star League. This is the juicy center of the BSL. You didn't have to watch like the early round of 32, 16. No, this is the playoffs. So the games are good. They're best of fives. It's Brood War, so it's already dope. And so a big thanks to all of you for tuning out here in record numbers to the BSL to watch these games here tonight. Wherever you are from, whatever language you speak, Brood War is amazing in all of those. So thank you so much for coming out to support BSL. If you want more information about when or what the BSL is doing, you can find that on Twitter by following @BombasticStar. You can hit the follow button above this channel, which is free. And you can also support the channel if you feel so led by donating to the prize pool. You can see that little bar down below, or by subscribing, both of which are totally optional, because watching Brood War is a basic human right, so you can do that no matter what. Wow, what an insane day of games. Both series end the same way, but are just so vastly different. I can't wait to watch TrueTouch or DeWalt play as they moved on. You have any final words about today's games before we leave, Nyokin?
No, I thought they were pretty great. TerrOr put up a really good showing. The Zerg versus Zergs games were very interesting too. It was great all around, and I think TrueTouch looks on point, so people need to be worried about him.
Sorry, I'm typing to chat while not breaking eye contact to show them that I am in fact the alpha in charge. And also I have a sword in chat, so I can just ban you. Anyway, big thanks to everybody for tuning in and watching. Huge thanks to Nyokin for co-casting with me, and of course to Zero for maintaining everything behind the scenes. That's going to do it for our broadcast tonight. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow for the rest of the BSL Season 6 round of 8. So have a great evening being beta wherever you are, and we'll see you back here tomorrow at the same time, same place for even more BSL. Thank you so much. Have a good morning, afternoon, or night wherever you are.